All right, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. This is All Purpose Champ and Crew podcast. We're going to do the future of gaming. And if you guys remember, probably about a year ago, we did the same thing. And as you can expect, we're going to talk about a lot of games. We're going to get into it. Jose always think he knows more than me. So, and then Joe's always the middle ground guy. He'll try to break us up. I'm sure you guys will see this happen. But yeah, welcome to the podcast. There's a lot of stuff that happened in gaming, so we figure let's get together and go over it and give you guys our thoughts. Now, the cool thing is, I have my handy little geeky looking thing up right now, and that is going to allow me to be able to see the comments. So if you guys want to be a part of this, you could chime in, and I'll gladly read comments as I can. So with that said, let me pull out our uh our topics. So first of all, before I do that, what's going on, man? How you guys doing?
Pretty good, man.
Okay, okay.
Pretty good. It was pretty hectic day trying to get that pre-order in.
So PlayStation's
I
pre-order
think I
was
think I think the Xbox sold out quicker than the PlayStation.
I guess so. Got that $300 system. Probably a
Nah,
lot
but it
of
was all of them.
huh?
It was all of them.
Well,
You
all the
can't get it. You can't
Xboxes.
get either. Yeah, you can't get either one right now.
Well, here's a question. I wonder if it had as many systems as the PlayStation.
Nah, no, because somebody put up a story that they got orders from GameStop,
Okay.
and GameStop only had maybe 4 Series X's and like 2 Series S. So it's like Microsoft was talking all that stuff about how we're gonna have all these systems, we're gonna have enough for everybody. Not even close.
Wow. Well, so what
Like
I'm
Australia sold out of their pre-orders like in less than 15 minutes. Here was
so
like 5.
So the cool thing is, because this is a good segue, our first topic is gonna be PlayStation. We might as well hit it hard. PlayStation, and the two different versions. We're gonna go over the prices, and we're gonna go over the Xbox and the two different versions and the prices. So let's get this out here first of all. So the PlayStation had their press conference last Thursday, 4 p.m. Eastern time, and after it they said, and starting tomorrow, you can pre-order a PlayStation, right? So I only know 3 people who was fortunate enough to pre-order one. You were one of them. So just give Jose, aka Loco Monkey Bones, some credit. So the two versions, right? So one is the disc version, and that's the $499 one, so $500, right? And the second one is the $399, $400, which is the one that's digital only, right? So which one did you get?
I got the one with the disc.
Okay, cool. Now, was that your plan from the beginning? You told yourself if you get one of them, that's the one you'll get?
Yeah, because isn't it the one with the disc a higher hard drive?
No, so it ended up coming out that they both got 856 gigs. So they both got the same hard drive. The only difference is just the disc versus the other one. That's the $100 difference. However, I
So
would have got the same one because I still GameFly games. I'm sure GameFly is going to transition to the newer, the next gen. And also I would like to. I don't have many. I don't own many Blu-rays, but there's a couple of Blu-rays, 4K Blu-rays I own that I couldn't use on my PlayStation because my PlayStation 4 Pro, as you know, it doesn't play 4K Blu-rays. It actually, can't do that. So
you wouldn't have you had an Xbox One X.
correct. So Joe, what would you have purchased if you had the choice between the two PlayStations?
I would get the disc one. Only because if sometimes you could get deals on discs, like they might go on sale, get deep discounts, where digital versions sometimes you don't get, like a deeper sale. Like I was able to get like Anthem for like $10, the disc version,
Right.
where I would probably have to pay almost full price digitally.
That's a good point.
So I kind of like that part.
Good point. So let's transition over to the Xbox. So today was the pre-order, you said, right, for Xbox?
Yeah.
So there are two versions, so different than the PlayStation, the way they did it. They have one that's $299. So I don't want to call it the budget version, but I kind of have to, right? We'll get into that. And then the other version is
It pretty much is.
499.
Though. It pretty much is.
Oh, what you say?
It pretty much is the budget.
Yeah, yeah, we could say that. I mean, I'm not being funny. I don't want anybody to say like, "Oh, really?" But it is pretty much a budget version. We'll explain. So, you were fortunate enough. Correct me if wrong. Did you get one of those too?
Yeah,
Okay, cool. And which one did you get?
I got the disc one.
All right, I know what you're gonna say. Well, I'm saying the other one is disc too, right? They're both disc.
Nah,
No,
no, I think that's digital.
Oh wow. See, I didn't realize that the lower one was only digital as well. So the difference
Yeah,
I
it's
knew
just a
of.
digital one.
Okay, the difference I knew of that the lower one was that it could only do 1440p, 60 frames per second, whereas the new one, or not the new one, sorry, whereas the $500 one could do 4K, 60 frames per second. So the difference that I knew of was that it actually is just, it's not as a powerful system. So it has all the same specs, but where they save money, and now that I also know they save money on the disk drive, but they also save money on the hardware, not allowing it to be able to push the higher the higher visuals. But the cool thing is, if you got a kid that don't have a 4K TV, they're not even going to notice the difference anyway. So when you think about it, for a lot of people who don't own a 4K TV, you could just get the $300 one and be fine because unless you want disc, because if you don't want disc.
Yeah, but it's still it isn't like true 4K, but it still pushes the 1440.
Well, yeah, it's going to try to upscale 1440, but true 4K is 2160. That's a big difference. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So you got 1440, 2160. It got to upscale up to that. So remember, when the PlayStation 4 Pro came out, people was like, it's not true 4K. It really isn't, right? It isn't, but they upscale it to 4K. So was it that big of a deal? It all depends on the person. If you want to say I got true 4K, 60 frames per second that's going to be the thing. 4K, 60 frames per second. Like we're not doing that right now, right? So that's gonna be cool. So
Yeah, but we're at a time where almost everybody right now has a 4K TV in their house.
I mean, we talked about this before, and Joe said, remember last time we had this conversation, and Joe said, I don't. And
you don't have a 4K TV, Joe?
He still don't, and he doesn't have any intentions of getting one. Everybody,
they're cheap though. They're cheap now.
Oh, when my TV breaks, then I'll get one. But I'm not just going to just go out and buy one just to get one.
Right.
It's not like before when they were like thousands of dollars. You can get a good size 4K TV for a good price.
Yeah, but you got to figure some people just don't have that care to. Some people don't have. Some people don't feel that it's necessary to upgrade yet, and so I feel like that's where Microsoft might make a difference. Is that the mom who wants to get their kid next gen system say, oh, my kid could get this for Christmas if they can for $300. Cool. The other one's $200. They don't know why the difference is, but to be honest with you, the difference won't make a difference if they don't even have a 4K TV. They're not going to even see the difference.
But see, the thing with that I don't think it will be a good buy. Mm-hmm. It's that I would rather get Xbox One X over the $300 budget Series S. I would pick the Xbox One X over that any day.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we're gamers, right? There ain't no way in hell. If you gave me the Xbox Series S, right? You said, hey, you can have it. I'm still going to feel like, oh, it's cool, but dude, I want the best, I want the biggest, like, all right, for instance, I'm a digital guy, right? But I still want the version that's going to be able to put out the most horsepower. If it's like you getting a Dodge Charger, right? You could get the one with the Hemi engine, or you could get the regular one. If you had the choice, now, granted, $200 is a big deal, I mean, what I'm just saying is I think parents may say, you know what, that $300 price tag is looking pretty good. Because look at it this way. The PlayStation 4 Pro, it's still $300 probably, right? So you could spend.
Oh, it's $400.
Oh, damn. Okay, fine. So you could get the next gen console for less than a current gen console. Now, I'm sure a couple months after these new consoles been out, the price is going to lower. I'm pretty sure on that. But for right now, you know,
See, but that's another thing. What makes a next gen console next gen?
because it got better graphics. Because now, so here's the cool thing.
The Series. Whoa. The Series S is a next gen console, but it doesn't have better graphics than the Xbox One X.
Right.
So how is that next gen?
No, hold on. Now check this out.
Because it has the ray tracing to it.
Right. No, that is true.
So that makes
we gotta get into that too. So that is a big deal too. Everybody's going crazy for ray tracing, right? It's like the new buzzword in gaming. But you're right, that won't be able to have ray tracing. But what it will have, right? So how many of us play our games and we're like, damn it, this load time is killing me. So that won't.
The S has ray tracing.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you sure?
Yep. Look up your specs, my guy.
Okay. No,
it has ray tracing.
Because I thought you was just saying one of the things it also doesn't have. Because I thought it didn't. Now, so that's cool. So think about it. So if it's still going to have ray tracing, but it won't be. So think about it. So the Xbox One, the current Xbox One doesn't have ray tracing. So still, you ask what's going to make it next gen. Next gen, ray tracing is going to make a difference, right? Then two, if you if you say, okay, graphically, whatever, but the speed of loading is still going to be, like, I think this gen, I didn't see no games yet, right? Besides what we see on YouTube, which I can't really, I need to see it personally. I didn't see nothing that blew me away yet. But what I think is that the speeds, right? So if we start playing games and it's like this, the load, that's going to be big to me because I'm used to the day and age where loading is a thing. We all are, you know? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, but if you saw the game trailers for Demon Souls or like I said, Ratchet and Clank, when he goes from universe to universe, is just at an instant. There's no load screens. You're just there. Even in Demon Souls, when he touched the sword, he was in the dungeon.
I hear you on that, but I feel like what that is and I want to give shout out to DJ Justin Love. He's watching. He said it does have ray tracing, so that's cool. We got a spec guy in the audience. Jay, can you be our spec guy and proof check us or fact check us if we say anything wrong? I appreciate it if you could do that. So yeah, but see, here's my. It's
gonna happen more with you because I'm pretty up there. It's gonna happen a lot with you.
It's gonna have what?
He's gonna be doing that a lot with you because not over here.
Oh, he's been doing that a lot with me. See, look, you already trying to start, man. We're gonna get into where you're just, I don't even know what to say about you when it comes to your thought process. But we're gonna get to that. So hold on. So before you make me lose my train of thought. So what we want to make the distinction is of the next gen, because I want to finish off what you're saying. So what makes a next gen console next gen? Typically, we're used to graphics, right? That's the number one thing. You know, back in the day, we went from 8-bit to 16-bit. It always doubled, right? We got to 64 bits, Nintendo 64, Jaguar, and then eventually when they went to PlayStation, it was like, I guess somehow we kind of stopped really talking about the bits. The new buzzword is also teraflops, right? So we know that the Xbox Series X have more teraflops than the PlayStation. It has 12 teraflops. PlayStation have 10.28. But again, how Sony said they're gonna do their games. Excuse me, the architect they have that they're not gonna be able to skip a beat. So we'll see. We'll be the judge of that when games come out. But to answer your point, and so we could discuss it, next gen was always about graphics, but I'm wondering, are we gonna start seeing feature, right? So you tell me I could get faster load time. For me, that's like a feature. That's not have nothing to do with the graphics, and I welcome that. What do you guys say?
Well, yeah, load time is definitely a big issue that we have now. So anytime we can cut that down, it's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, I even noticed the little subtle things like I don't want to get this into anything crazy, but we're talking about gaming. But when Stadia came out, because again, their hardware isn't in our house, right? So they have a data center, right? Pretty much call it super. So even like, let's say a game like Destiny, and Joe could attest to this. We've been playing Destiny for a while. We'll play Destiny, you're going to fly in. It takes a little while. And then you'll play something on like Stadia. And it's like, man, that load pretty fast. So so that's just showing because technically Stadia would be more next gen hardware. It came out not that long ago, so obviously the PlayStation and Xbox, they're kind of old. They've been out for what, like 7, 8 years now. So just seeing that, I can't wait to see how PlayStation and the new PlayStation, new Xbox is going to handle load time. Now, here's the thing though. They
I
showed the
know, I
demo
know,
of how
I
like
know.
fast, what'd you
You
say?
call Stadia next gen console, bro.
I mean,
I know you just call Stadia next gen console, my
well,
guy.
Well, here's the thing. Reason why I think it might possibly be considered next gen, and we'll have to see once the developers start. Again, we said graphics usually show what's next gen, but we also use buzzwords like, teraflops. So I'm not sure if you know, but the PlayStation 5 has 10.28 teraflops. Stadia actually has 10.69. So if we're going by that, technically it is more powerful. If we're going by teraflops than the PlayStation 5, right?
Yeah,
So
but I don't see it. I don't see it in none of the games that I play. I don't see
no,
none of those
and
flops with
I'm glad you said
graphics
that.
or
So
anything.
here's the thing. We're all gamers, right? Or you're familiar with what's called a street date, right? So if Madden 25 was coming out this Friday, right? Stores that got it today can't break the street date. But there's certain people that have their own shop. I actually know somebody I used to buy games off like 2 weeks early. Then they start getting cracked on down on. Then they was able to sell it a week early. The next you know, they was like, hey, I could get you this game a day early because I get fined if I break the street date. So I would like to think technology is a street date. For instance, why would Stadia be allowed to have next gen games before PlayStation and Xbox, right? It wouldn't make sense if Stadia came out almost a year ago, right? And then all of a sudden they was having these super powerful games. First of all, Stadia is like the redheaded stepchild. They get games later because again, their architecture is different. So they have to create the Stadia version. So I would like to think Microsoft and Sony spent a lot of money to make sure when next gen go live, Stadia is not going to be jumping the curve. Stadia, I'm pretty sure, is going to have to wait to the next gen systems to be able to put out their next gen stuff. And I bet you that the developers are still going to say, we're going to develop your next gen games, but not right away. Because again, if you're making more money on PlayStation and Xbox, it's more of a concern. All right, for instance, the Marvel Avengers game that came out, right? There was a huge patch that came out. Well, the Stadia patch was like so late. The second Stadia patch didn't even come out yet. They literally skipped the second Stadia patch, and people had to wait to the third Stadia patch, which included the second Stadia patch. Just meaning that if you don't make that much money because they're the new kid on the block, they obviously don't have as many people. The developers aren't rushing to put their time and effort into Stadia when they're not making as much money back on it. So I'm just again, I don't know this for sure, but I'm pretty sure technology has a street date. I'm pretty sure Stadia, yes, only came out less than a year ago, got 10.69 teraflops. I'm pretty sure they could put out some great looking games that's going to be next gen. However, I'm pretty sure the developers are like, these games don't come out to November and after. You're not going to have those games now. I'm just saying it makes sense to me, but I could be wrong. But
Yeah, like the Madden game, like it's out for PS4 and Xbox, but you can't get it on Stadia
right,
right now.
and even all right. So look, we're getting close to running out of time, guys. Hold on. Well, I'm gonna come right back. I wanted to do it this way because I like this format. So just hold that thought, guys. Don't go nowhere. The stream won't end, but I'm gonna redo everything because I love the way Zoom looks. So I didn't want to do it where somewhere else. And instead of me waiting to the last minute, I might as well do it right now. So, anyways, we will be right back, and you guys hold that thought. All right, guys, we are back. Sorry about that. Oh man, my boy Blue Bobs, what's up, man? Another part of the Stadia Source Force. I just started that name the other night for my wrestling group when we wrestle on Stadia. All right, anyway, so uh, anyways, so yeah, Justice said it does have ray tracing. We went over that before. So Blue Bobs, thanks for joining in. We are having a discussion about the future of gaming. So we're talking about the next gen systems, and we got a couple other things we want to topic and talk. And then Jose and myself, we like to get into nonsense debates. So I'm sure you guys are going to see some of that as well. So what else we want to say about these consoles, guys? So we talked about the price. We talked about what makes them next gen. So here's a question for you. So we might as well get into it, Jose. Right? So we're going there. If you had to choose, and let's ask Joe. Joe, if you had to choose between the PlayStation 5 or the Xbox, whichever one, what would you choose? And why?
I mean, like I've always had a PlayStation, so like my heart wants me to do PlayStation.
Right.
Now I know you're itching to get to that whole Game Pass thing.
At some point.
And I know we talked about it, and maybe not right now, but at some point, it's very intriguing,
right,
to make you want to go that direction.
Right.
So,
are we talking about it now, or are we waiting?
What'd you say?
Are we talking about it now, or are we waiting?
No, not yet. Game Pass is actually what? So I wanna give Game Pass its own like segment. That's the way I did it. So I just want to see what, because we're going to eventually be done talking about the new systems, right? So before we get done, let's just get our opinions on which system will we go for right now, and then. Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping, and like I said this earlier in our chat, that I'm probably even like a year away before even thinking about getting the system. I'm hoping that Stadia is going to fill that void and get new games as they come out. And if I want to get them, I can get them. And I won't have to worry about a console.
Right. Now, let me ask you this question about Stadia. Does it matter to you if they do, the rumor is Generation 2. So, like, if the new systems come out in November and the graphics are next-gen graphics, they got ray tracing, but if Stadia still starts to all of a sudden start getting all the games, but they're not next-gen games, but they're like the current-gen version, does that bother you?
Not because I'm not a graphics guy.
Okay.
And I just have a regular old, TV. So, So
you're more into the gameplay itself. You want to actually just play and enjoy the game. It doesn't have to wow. The visuals doesn't have to wow you.
Right.
Cool. Okay. Now, Jose, you. Oh, wait. So you did. I get what you're saying, that you're probably a year out anyway. However, if you choose one, what would you? Well, you know what? You could save that. I mean, if you could give a short answer, if you choose one, what would you choose?
I mean, I would like to go PlayStation, just because that's what I've always been.
Right.
And we have to kind of see how the other thing is going to play out.
Okay.
That we're not going to talk about right now.
And that's fine. And then we'll get into that other thing when we get into the other thing. So, right. Moneybags over here that could afford every system, Jose, listen, you and I debate a lot, but I always give you credit because if you say something, you at least tried the game. Now, you may not have, I still feel like you did try Elder Scrolls, but that was a bad night and you automatically
we left him hanging.
Yeah, we left you hanging. You automatically said this game sucks, but I feel like if you would have played it a little longer on a better night, you probably would have liked it. But what I'm saying is I give you credit. I respect your opinion. We disagree a lot, but I respect where you're coming from because you do play the games. You own every system. You are a definitely you're a true gamer, And so even though you try to tell me I'm not a true gamer, but I respect you as a true gamer. So
I'll stick to that because there's just games out there that if you are a gamer, right, you should play. You should play these games, and you just don't.
I mean,
and there are games that are good games, and you don't play them because
I mean,
they're just not for you. And it's like, I don't get how, because they're good games, right? Everybody calls them games great games, and you don't play them. So it's like, ugh.
I mean, I think you're talking about the wrong person. You might be talking about Joe. But
Did you finish Spider-Man? Did you finish Spider-Man?
huh?
Did you finish Spider-Man?
No, not at all.
Yeah,
But I played it. I don't think I have to. So you're judging me because I don't beat a game. Now here's what you can't say. Mention all these. So here's your thing. You're the guy that played all the games that's the rated 10. Oh, they got, these are the games that everybody loved,
no,
right?
not at all.
No,
Not at
no,
all.
no. Hold on,
Not
hold
at
on,
all.
hold on.
Because
I
if you
give
go
you
on
credit. You play. Okay, you play everything. I give you that. You do play everything. But the games you brag on are the games that's like they always got a 10 out of 10, right? Obviously. Now, what you try to do to me is say you don't play those games, which you said. I do play those games. I just don't find them as great as you and everybody else does for me to actually beat those games. So like right now I gameflied the samurai game that you love so much. What is it called? The the
um,
Ghost of Tsushima,
Tsushima?
right? That's in my PlayStation right now. So that game is amazing. I gameflied the other game that was game of the year last year. I said if it's game of the year, I have to play it. That Shadows Die Twice. I gameflied it and played it. I didn't like it that much, so I sent it back. So certain games I will like you with Elder Scrolls. Me and Joe reached level 50, which is one of the highest levels in Elder Scrolls, and we was like, kind of done. You didn't take another look at Elder Scrolls, so you're doing the same thing as me. But I didn't say you're not a gamer because you didn't get to level 50 in Elder Scrolls. But you're saying I'm not a gamer because I didn't beat Spider-Man, I didn't beat Ghost of Tsushima, I didn't beat Shadows Die Twice. I played them. You can't say I didn't. I still played them.
Hey, and like I played God of War, like the newer God of War. I thought it was a chore, and all I wanted to do was just kill my son because he annoyed me. Like it was just like I was just playing it just to get through it.
He really was. Joe was like, I'm done with this guy. I was like, Joe, it's gonna get better, trust me. But you know what the thing is? So a game like God of War gets 10.
I was like,
Huh?
I was like that too. I was like that too with God of War. Like, like I just felt that it was just so much that you just had to do compared to all the old God of War games. That God of War was just you go in, hack and slash. That's it. You'll do some little puzzles, but nothing crazy. And this one was just so much stuff going on, and I was like,
yeah.
Like I didn't like.
I think this one people loved, but I think it also lost its identity a little bit. Like you said, we're used to God of War where you're just ripping people apart, hacking, slashing. I even said this God of War, the controls and everything was cool, but it was nowhere as epic as Part 3. Part 3, you had these giant, huge monsters. You was always into it because you knew around the next corner you was gonna battle a million characters, ripping them, slashing them, get to this big boss, super epic. But this one was so story driven, which was cool. The dialogue felt like you was watching a movie, but it's not like the God of War, we all knew and loved. And I think Joe played the God of War 3 right before the new one, right? Like closely around the new one, right?
Yeah, because I think it was like a PS Plus game or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. And so you probably could admit that Part 3 was probably pretty epic when you think of it, like, but
Yeah, I mean, it kind of looked old looking, but I mean, I don't know how old it was when at the time, but I mean, it was fine.
Yeah.
But as far as like gaming and being a gamer, like I just kind of like my style of games. I like sports games. I like Call of Duty. I like Division, and Breakpoint, like games like that, So
I agree. So Jose, answer the question though. If you had to choose, if you're going to get one, which one would you choose? You could just give us a very short answer. We're going to get into it later.
Xbox.
Xbox?
PlayStation 5.
Oh, PlayStation 5. Okay, cool. All right, cool. So we're not going to beat this thing up that much anymore. Let me see on the list. I just wanted to mention Stadia. I don't want to get this the whole versus thing because you guys know I have a lot of love for Stadia, especially because guys, I am a streamer for Stadia Source now, so you can check me out on Stadia Source and check out StadiaSource.com because they're the number one Stadia source for news and reviews. Had to throw that plug in there, but but this is more about PlayStation and Xbox. They are the future, the next future of gaming. I mean, I think Stadia is going to be a great contender. But I have to admit, I don't see Stadia making people eyebrows raise until one, they have their own exclusive and they take advantage of the cloud. As we know, in the cloud you can have more features than you can on a console. So that's why I feel like next gen is going to the way of the features. Like if you give me fast load time, you start throwing in the ray tracing. But Stadia is a little bit out there for them to have their own Stadia branded AAA games where you're going to see them, have some crazy massive, whatever. So since we're going into that, I wanted to say what I think is cool is that Microsoft, I got Xbox on the brain. And guys, for full transparency, I'm a PlayStation guy at heart. Yes, I like Stadia, but PlayStation was my background. But we'll get into that. But I think what's cool is Google did a deal with Blockbuster. Dude, what's this wrong with? Google did a deal with Best Buy, and as of right now, you can't physically purchase anything Stadia. You have to go online to Google and order a controller or a Chromecast, whatever. But coming up in the future, you're going to be able to walk into a Best Buy and have the Premier bundle, which was $130, now $99, and it comes with a Chromecast and it comes with a Stadia controller. Chromecast is about $70. Stadia controllers are $70. So that's some value right there. And I'm not sure if it's going to come with any months of Pro, which is Stadia,
No, I
kind
don't
of
think
like
so.
their own little version of where you get free games or whatever every month. And this retails for $9.99. But I just wanted to highlight that because I think if we're talking about future gaming, out there in the distant future, Stadia, I have high hopes for them. But I think them branding themselves to the public eye, right? So yeah, when you go on YouTube, you see a Stadia commercial, and you go more Stadia's commercials all over. But I think parent took if a parent took their kid to the store, and here was a PlayStation 5, right? And here was a Xbox X, whatever you want to call it, Xbox Series X, and then there was a Nintendo Switch, and then there was a
Because Nintendo's coming out with the Nintendo's supposed to be coming out with
right.
the Switch Pro.
So here's what's cool. I don't know if I added that on the list. So I apologize if I didn't put it on there. But I added on the list what's going on with Nintendo. So the cool thing is you follow them as well. I don't follow Nintendo as heavily, but I know they're out there. I know the rumors as well what you're talking about. But we're gonna give Nintendo their own little shine. But just follow me with this. So you got little demo displays. So imagine you got a demo display. So all right, so you see these boxes of PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo. Then you see a Google Stadia and it shows a picture of a controller and the kid's like, "What the hell is this?" And you see it say $100. You just went from 500. How much is a Switch now?
300.
All right, 500, 300, $100. You're like, wait, what? Now here's what Google needs to do. You'll see a demo display of a PlayStation 5. Oh, I can hold a controller playing, but you see a physical system. You see a demo display of an Xbox. Oh man, you can hold the controller. Then you see a Switch. They're gonna let you hold it. And then imagine if you walk up to a controller for Stadia and a screen, and you're like, "What the hell is this connected to? Like, how am I getting this?" And it's $100. And then they got a guy working there and explaining, like, "Oh, it's Google Stadia. It comes from the cloud, so there's really nothing you really need. You can put it on this, put it on that." And maybe they might have a laptop that you're playing on. Maybe they might have a display. Maybe they might have a phone, right? I think that's the stuff that they need to do. But I feel like with the introduction of you seeing it physically in the store, that's a plus. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I mean, they definitely have to get out there. I mean, even my own son, like, he didn't even know what Stadia was. Like, we were playing, and he's like, "What's Stadia?" And I was like, "You didn't hear me talk about it?" Like, he didn't realize what it was. And then I showed him, like, I was playing on the TV, and then I moved it over to the computer, like, real easy. I mean, I took it on vacation with me, so I was able to, play there. I mean, and all it is a little Chromecast Ultra.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. What is your thoughts about them going to Best Buy, Jose?
My thought on Stadia is that you say that it's good that they're going to Best Buy, and I get that because it's good to be able to go to the store and pick it up if you wanted it, over having just to only order it online. But the thing with that is that, like you said, if it's a parent a parent is always gonna want a PlayStation or an Xbox over something like Stadia. And it might be, it's convenient, because how easy it is. But kids are going to want a PlayStation. Your kids is going to want an Xbox for Christmas. The kid's going to want those things, I highly doubt that a kid's going to be like, oh, I want Google Stadia for Christmas over a PlayStation or an Xbox. You know what I'm saying?
You don't want to be that kid that opens it up and you're like, what is this? And all their friends are like, I got an Xbox, I got PlayStation. I got this Stadia thing.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, you got parents are getting Christmas lists, I'm pretty sure already. So it's gonna be like, PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X, or even an old PlayStation or Xbox over, a Stadia. Kid is gonna be like, oh, I want Stadia for Christmas.
No, and I definitely hear you, but I feel like that's apparent. Yeah, obviously. I mean, look at me now, right? I'd be mad as hell if I got a Switch. I don't want to switch over a PlayStation, so I look at it like that over a Xbox. At some point, I would have been mad if I got an Xbox over a PlayStation. So I get that, but I'm just saying for them to actually come to a physical where you could actually see when you walk into a GameStop.
I think that's cool.
Huh?
I think that's cool that they're actually in a store now,
right? And
you can actually go and pick it up if you want to, over having to just having to go online and be like, oh,
right,
yeah,
order it.
But I mean, they really need to start educating the public about what it is and all that.
True.
That's the problem. It's just people that are kind of follow technology a little bit, kind of know about it, and would be interested in it.
Yeah, but I also think it takes longevity.
Joe,
right? What'd you say?
Angry Joe was just talking about it, and he said that the whole thing with Microsoft buying Bethesda, yep, that's gonna be a Stadia killer, because all those games, all the games from those studios are gonna go to Game Pass, and Game Pass has the xCloud, and those are a lot of high value games.
Right.
Like Elder Scrolls 6 is gonna come out on Game Pass, and you can get xCloud and have it on the go too. So it's like he called it that's gonna be like a Stadia killer.
So we'll get into that because remember we got Bethesda I'm giving Bethesda that whole thing. Let's give it its own little section. So then let's bring that up too, because that's going to be a good point. Let me go into the comments real quick because I want people to feel mad if I'm leaving out their comments. So Go Gaga said Just Joe got me acting up. Don't know what that means. And Go Gaga might be a troll, so I'm going to read the comments, guys. But that I just want to kiss that nice silver beard. Okay, that's for Joe. AESWD says, does it have RGB? So I think he's talking about the I'm assuming they're talking about the Xbox One S. And then Go Gaga said lame. So I apologize, guys. I'm a little late, so I'm not sure what's lame. But Stan Dredd said, yeah, that sucks. And Stan Dredd said, but the Xbox didn't either. And Go Gaga said, MonkeyBonz got the Walmart mic. And then like I said, I'm reading them. So Stan Dredd says, doesn't Stadia scare you since you don't actually own anything? It's all digital. And then Stan Dredd said question, so he wants us to answer that. Ben 10 said, cool hat, homie. Appreciate it. And Ben 10 said, yo, did you hear RGB died? So RGB, isn't that like with the RCA jacks or whatever? But like the red, green.
No, he's a YouTuber.
Oh. Okay.
Isn't he? Isn't that RGB?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not that familiar with some of the YouTubers, but we can answer some of these questions. So the one thing about this Stadia doesn't scare me because when all my friends hated digital, I was the first guy to be into digital. And my one friend used to be like, dude, you're getting digital. What if Sony goes out of business? I was like, dude, if Sony goes out of business, then we got more things to work. Like I buy a game, I spend my money on a game, I enjoy it when I can. Half the time I'm done with the game and I never even play it anymore. So doesn't really matter. So at the end of the day, it's just a video game. If being digital doesn't scare me because I'm pretty sure in a year later I'm probably not even going to be playing the games I played last year. I'm probably if I still got disc, I probably would have traded them anyway. And then you barely get money, so that's why I stopped even getting games on disc because I would often get rid of a game on disc, and then now one of my friends start playing that game I got rid of, and it's like, oh, I should have kept it because now they're playing it. So that's what digital is cool for me. I just re-download the game if other people are playing it. Oh, matter of fact, I meant to tell you this, guys. Just want to put it out here. I went to McDonald's on my lunch break, and there's a guy I met at McDonald's, and he actually watched our stuff, and he said a special request. He asked, "Could we play Friday the 13th tomorrow?" So you guys want to play Friday the 13th as our stream?
No.
Wow, that's a classic.
Yeah, it's classic, man. Come on, Joe. Joe,
All right.
you still own it, right? Because it was free eventually.
Yeah, I also bought it.
I know you did buy it, and like a year later it was free.
Yeah.
So, guys, so anyway, we're gonna fulfill a dream of his and play Friday 13. You guys cool with that? Even though Joe said no.
Is it like anything special?
Huh?
Is there like something special about it?
No, he just he said he's a Friday 13th guy. So when I seen him in the drive-through today, as I was getting my French fries, he was like, "Dude, sorry, I was on vacation. I haven't watched anything, but I love Friday 13. You think you could play that?" I said, "Dude, we used to love that game. We'll play it." And I know Bones is super good at it, so that'd be cool.
And I'm
Anyway,
horrible.
huh?
And I'm horrible. You're gonna need more people.
Yeah,
I'll let
we'll
you.
spread. We'll get
I'll
Bobby
let
and
you
his
know.
friends, and we'll be good.
I'll kill just all purpose over here.
Whatever, you could try to kill me. So, anyways, so the Stadia thing, I think pretty much, we all agree that it coming to Walmart, it coming to Best Buy would be cool. They definitely need the public eye to see them because right now they're in the cloud. Don't nobody see Stadia. Like Joe said, it's more of a techie thing, whatever. I want to talk about the Joe thing you said because I did see somebody saying that, but I think we should keep that into the Bethesda part, or do you think we should bring that up now? What do you think, Jose?
I mean, if you're gonna talk about a Bethesda thing, then it just should be a part of that.
Okay. All right. So, I guess what I'll do is I'll switch it up a little bit. Let's just get into Bethesda now, so we move it up a little bit on a scale. So, guys, if you didn't hear, Microsoft acquired Bethesda Studios for $7.5 billion. What some people don't realize
More
is
than Minecraft.
Yeah, what some people don't realize is the video game industry dwarfs the movie industry. So I got a couple of my friends that's really into movies but not video games, and they're always like movies, movies. I said, dude, I'm a gamer. At the end of the day, video game business is way more huge. So that's crazy when you think of it. I bet a lot of people don't know that. They think of like video games like little kids play video games, but video game business is massive. So $7.5 billion, and they acquired that studio. Now, what does that mean? That's the question. Well, Bethesda went on record and said any game that they currently have, they will still support it for all the different systems and platforms. So that's what they said. And I'll ask you guys your opinion.
No.
I think down the road,
Mm-mm.
they're not gonna. I think they're doing that now to save face, but I feel like maybe in a year, like when you mentioned when something like Elder Scrolls 6 come out, that's going to be only on. I think that's either going to only be on Xbox, or maybe it'll be on everybody else, but you could get it earlier on Game Pass. What are you guys' thoughts? First of all, of the purchase, because they do have some good games. Let's actually bring up some games first. I personally think my favorite game of 2020 was Doom. Doom Eternal. Still, I love that game. I played a mess out of the game. I started actually going through, and remember, it's a one-player game. I'm usually the multiplayer guy. But that one-player game, I played the story. I went back through it, was trying to actually 100% it. But that Bethesda makes that. They makes the Elder Scrolls franchise, and a bunch of other things.
They got Wolfenstein.
Wolfenstein also. Let me pull. I did take a picture of it earlier, and
Don't they have the Fallout stuff?
Yeah, they got Fallout.
All right, so yeah, they got Fallout, they got the Elder Scrolls, they got the Wolfenstein. Like I said, they got Dishonored, they got Doom, they got Starfield, guess it's a computer game because I never played it. They have The Evil Within. They got Prey. So those are some of their top hits. Can't say I play them all, but at the end of the day, they are still big games when it comes to gaming. You know. So, man, what do you guys think about this?
I mean, it seems like just
I
like a
it was
huge studio to like only be exclusive
Right.
to Microsoft. Maybe they'll just do like timed exclusives and then go give out to everyone else, because that's just still money in their pocket. You know, if they sell their game to other people,
Right.
they're still making money.
Well, I
but did
seen.
you guys like actually
Go
did you
ahead.
guys like actually look it up though? Because what's his name? Phil Spencer. Phil Spencer, I believe is his name. He clearly said that the game, because Bethesda's got 2 games that are PS5 exclusives. So that was already put into a contract
Right.
before they were bought out. So they're gonna, put out those games for the PS5. But after that, the games are gonna be, he said, on a case-by-case basis. So if Microsoft says, oh, that game's going to be an exclusive to Microsoft, it's going to be exclusive to Microsoft.
Right.
So he said the games are going to be released, and how they're released is going to be on a case-by-case basis. So they have the power to say, oh, you know what, this game, we want it just for us. Or
so maybe like it's just like a totally new game, like as they like are like, oh, we're gonna have this new game. Okay, you're Xbox only.
Right.
But like if they're gonna continue Fallouts and Elder Scrolls and stuff like that, Dooms, maybe they'll just make those for everyone.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Because he said very clearly, be on a case by case basis. So you have to wait and see what the cases are. But you also think about it, right? Because they're like the fanboys, or whatever you want to call them. There's people that are fanboys on PlayStation, but guess what, right? Or Stadia. Guess what? If you buy one of those games, who's getting all the money? Xbox is getting all the money.
I agree.
So now all you fanboys are going to be buying all these games for your systems that you're fanboys for. All you're going to be doing is funding Microsoft.
Well,
so it's like,
yeah, you got to think about it. They still got to recoup that $7.5 billion. They just spent money. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it would be smart to start off with everybody still gets these games so they can make more money to make back this money. To your earlier point, I don't really feel like this hurts Stadia that much. Just because so we're talking a few games that Stadia has, right? So let's say in the future they can't get a new Doom, they can't get a new well, let me look at the list. They Elder Scrolls, right? So you can't get a new Doom, they can't get a new Elder Scrolls. I think that's the only thing they have. Because I don't think Stadia has Wolfenstein, or do they? Did Stadia have Wolfenstein?
No, I thought they had that one with like the girls, the 2 girls.
What 2 girls?
It was like I thought it was like it was kind of like a Wolfenstein, but
the one you played with Sandy, the sequel, there's 2 daughters. You played it with Sandy.
I don't remember. Are you talking about with the 2 guys breaking out of prison?
No, it was the 2
no.
The 2 girls, there's 2 daughters from Wolfenstein.
Oh yeah, the New Blood or something like that. Well, let me do this, guys. Let me
Youngblood, Wolfenstein Youngblood.
Yeah, Youngblood. Okay, yeah. So they do have that. All right, let me break this up real quick. Since we're short on this time, we'll create another thing. This will probably be our last, going into our last part of the segment. So hold on. Be right back, guys. It will be right back. All right, so yeah, so we were talking about so I get you yeah, so the Youngblood game I did play, and I played that on not on Stadia though, but I played that on PlayStation. So so yeah, I'm not sure if Stadia has a Wolfenstein. I almost feel like they do. Maybe I'm thinking about Metro because it's similar to Wolfenstein. But anyway, so I feel like it doesn't hurt them that bad. Plus, if you look at technology wise, it's clear that Stadia spent more money and their infrastructure. Like if you play Project X Cloud, which I like it, right? But it's a clear difference. Like it's not Stadia. Like Stadia is the premier cloud service right now. You know. But again, Microsoft has the name. Now, here's what I ask you this though. We clearly said if you walk into a store, see a Google thing standing there, you're like, oh, what's that? I feel the same way at xCloud. How many people heard or know of xCloud? Actually, they changed the name. It's going to be called Xbox Streaming, I guess. So how many
Right.
people even know that exists? You know, they gotta start making that more relevant.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's all about games.
True.
And Bethesda has tons of studios. I mean, tons
Right.
of studios that Microsoft just got.
True.
So those are just going to be tons of games added to Game Pass, which is part of xCloud,
Right. The
Xbox streaming, whatever it's going to be called. But it's still a ton of games that you can practically get on the go.
Yeah, but
You know, it's all about the games.
yeah, but I feel like it's silly to say.
You say Google Stadia, you know, it's easy because yeah. But how many games does it have where people are like, oh my god, it's like it's got these great games?
No, I get you.
Does it?
But what you're saying makes no sense when you think of it. Remember, Project xCloud came out like a week after Stadia, right? Or something like that. Project xCloud came out with 50 games. They didn't even have 50 games yet. Then Project xCloud jumped up to 80 games, right? So they always had more games than Stadia, and Stadia is still alive. So in theory, then Stadia should have died a long time ago because Project xCloud has more games. It always had more games. They probably have more games now. It does than Stadia, and Stadia is still kicking. Google, it's about money. Google have enough money to see how long. Google have enough money to go for the long haul. So that's why I don't think just one studio leaving is gonna make Google Stadia die. That's such a and it's silly that somebody like um Angry Joe said that because I figure he would know more, you know. But at the end of the day, he's Angry Joe. He kind of is. But yeah, that's silly. You know, that's silly. You got to know who you're dealing with. Now, if it was a new company that just started, let's say a small company started Stadia, right? It wasn't no Google. It was like I don't know, just make up a name, right? And they started Stadia. Then that would be scary for them, right? But Google got money, dude. Google got so much money. They have these big studios that's right now working on a triple A only Stadia game. Now, when those games come out, and if they're terrible, then I would myself be like, yo, Stadia is going under. But we haven't seen those games yet, and Google have enough money to last long till those games come out and we see what they could do. So don't want to put too much emphasis on Stadia because this is about the Bethesda thing. But you did make a good point because some people are saying this merger may kill Stadia. I just don't see it. It doesn't make sense when Project xCloud always had more games than Stadia anyway. So we're talking about two games that Stadia have that Bethesda makes that maybe the next go around they won't have them. I doubt they're gonna close their doors because they can't get two games. Doesn't make sense. But Joe, you got any thoughts before? Because we're gonna leave the whole Stadia thing alone. But you got any thoughts about Bethesda, xCloud or Xbox Gaming, whatever the hell it's called, having Bethesda? Will that affect Stadia? Like,
I mean, I hope not. I hope it doesn't affect it, but it could. I really don't know. It's too soon to tell.
So. Like, yeah, because you guys are just not, you know, taking into consideration how big this was in like the gaming community.
right.
Like this was like the biggest thing in a long time. You know?
I agree.
And for them to buy
I think
this studio with so many people that follow these games because you know, Elder Scrolls 6, you know, that game has like a big fan base,
Right.
you know? So it's like, that's a big buy for
Yeah.
Microsoft.
But here's my thing. I think it hurts more PlayStation than Stadia. First of all, you didn't get to play that game anyway, right? Like you just like Stadia is so new. You not that many people even. So here's the benefit of Stadia. Not that many people have Stadia, so they're gonna go into it knowing, oh, we can't get that cool. Now, if you was on PlayStation, you're like, whoa, I've been playing this game on PlayStation. You mean to tell me I'm not gonna be able to continue it? Now you might decide to say, okay, I'm gonna get an Xbox, not a PlayStation, because you're used to playing the game on PlayStation. Stadia is so new, it hasn't even been out for a year yet. I don't think people are gonna make that big distinction like, oh man, I got Stadia, but I can't play that. You wasn't playing that anyway. It only had Elder Scrolls Online, which my brother, he's big into the Elder Scrolls, but most Elder Scrolls fans, they don't like the online game. They think it sucks. They like the one player, hardcore, Morrowind, and all that stuff, right? So they're like, okay, and if you're talking about fans, because you brought it up, and then if you think of Doom, I mean, I like Doom, you know, so I got the Doom game, but at the end of the day, I had the other Doom game on PlayStation. I was used to playing it on PlayStation. So what I'm saying is Stadia is so new, I don't think it's that big of a shock because they don't even get everything anyway, and they're still pushing along. Now PlayStation, it might be like, bro. Now the argument between the PlayStation and the Xbox guys, you might be like, yo, man, but PlayStation can't get this anymore. That makes more of a good argument. You know what I'm saying? Versus the new system that don't even get all the games anyway. You know what I mean? Like it's just another game Stadia can't get. Oh no, no. That's the way I look at it. It just makes sense that way. You know? It's
Yeah,
like
but
you
like I
can't miss
said, you
what
know,
you
at the end
never
of the day,
had, right? So if you always
yeah,
had this bottle of soda and I snatched it from you, it feels uncomfortable. But if it was the new system that you never had the soda, like who's crying over it? You ain't have it anyway. Anyway, but yeah, it's a huge merger. Like you said, one of the biggest deals in gaming news ever, right? Um, and we just got to see where it goes. My thing is, I'm not that big of a Bethesda fan. I like Doom. I missed definitely skipped some years on Doom games, but I don't know. We have to see. I mean, I don't think Bethesda is like when I think of a company, man. If they would have got EA, if they would have got Activision, you know, when I think of big companies, let me see somebody purchase Activision or EA. Then I'm like shaking a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like Bethesda's all right, but I never look at Bethesda as like the super big company. That's just me.
hey,
You know what I'm saying?
EA,
Huh?
EA's got what, Madden? That's
Hell
big
yeah,
on money
EA got the sports games.
and basketball, right? Basketball, EA.
Yeah, listen, if EA goes specifically to one company and Activision making Call of Duty, that's a big blow. That's a big blow. You know, what do you think about that, Joe? Like, how big of Bethesda games are you even a fan of?
I mean, I think I've only played the Elder Scrolls.
Right.
You know, going through their list. So I guess not that big a fan.
Okay. I mean, it's listen. Here's the thing. It's a big deal because there are millions of fans for their games. But I won't say like they make the games where like you know 10 houses on the street, like 9 out of 10 people play their games. Probably not. Now, at Activision or EA, yeah, probably everybody on the street played one of their games. You know what I'm saying? Bethesda, it might be like four, if you ask me. They make kind of like niche games.
Yeah, but you're missing the big picture though. Like, what is it? How many studios is it? Like, it's like high up there. It's like the numbers of studios under that
Right, Bethesda
one
umbrella.
company is a lot.
Right. No,
So each studio is to be, you know, probably making a game. And where's that game going? On Game Pass. Where's that game going when it's released? On Game Pass. So it's like you guys aren't seeing like the big picture, like further down the line when all those studios start cranking out games. All those games are coming straight to Game Pass.
well, so here's the thing. So I think it's a huge, right? And because you made a good point, and we can't forget this. They do have an umbrella of studios, right? So you got a great point because we can't miss this. So it's not just the games that we know and heard of, right? Like the couple I read. but it's also future games that's going to be made that Microsoft could potentially have only for them. The only problem with that is we don't know how great those future games are going to be, right? So I'm not going to get too excited yet. Like Joe said earlier, we just got to see. But yes, does that give Microsoft more studios? It does. But how many studios? I mean, Joe's going to say it that make Bobo games, right? They make these indie looking games, and somebody like Joe is like, dude, I could care less about that funny looking game that you know what I'm saying. So we got it. We just have to see
Yeah.
what they're gonna do, you know. But yeah, it's a huge deal. It definitely give Xbox Game Pass another win in my book, 100%. Even if they don't get the game exclusive, but they at least get it early and it's included. I mean, that holds a lot of weight. Let me go to the comments real quick. So my boy Mr. Urban World, man, thanks for tuning in. He usually check out the Sandy and Anthony show on Thursday nights at 9 p.m. So I appreciate you jumping in. He said, "Oh, the lady that died thought it was a YouTuber, I guess." He said, "I pre-ordered the Xbox Series S, but as far as Bethesda is concerned, Microsoft hasn't stated if they'll withhold games from the other platform." And then he said, "Google is a $1 trillion company. They can make crazy purchases too if they wanted." Yeah, it's definitely true. I don't see Google buying a whole studio yet because Stadia isn't really proven. They don't have enough Stadia players to make a purchase that big like they did, right? Like that wouldn't make sense. I feel like once Stadia have so many pro members, then for Google will pull out that because like again, like you said, $1 trillion company. Google has money, but it's just make smart moves. You're not going to invest all this money and your system, your platform is improving. We got the new Xbox, new PlayStation coming out. We already know they're going to take up majority of the video gamers, right? It's going to be a pie, and Stadia is going to be like this big in the pie, and it's going to be Xbox and PlayStation fighting for that space. But I think PlayStation, or I think Google Stadia is the long.
No, stop, bro. Listen. You're gonna stop cutting out. Nintendo, bro. Nintendo is the best system out right now.
I mean,
Nintendo's the best system out right now.
I mean, I don't even think of Nintendo in the. I feel like Nintendo. I feel like you have video game companies, and then you have Nintendo.
If you show that pie right now, Nintendo's a big part of that pie.
I guess. Yeah, I guess you're right. I feel like again,
I was thinking like Nintendo as like the kids' gaming system.
Yeah, I agree. Nintendo have their solid fans, and I feel like those reason why I feel like Nintendo fans typically are Nintendo fans. You understand? And like you might have people who are who PlayStation fans, and then they might have like a Nintendo Switch, but they're not a Nintendo fan. Like they play Nintendo for specific games, but they're pretty much like you. You're bringing up Nintendo. You wouldn't sit here and say you're gonna wait for the next Nintendo if you had a choice and not get an Xbox or PlayStation. Hell no, Nintendo will be last on the list. Let's be clear. Like to be fair, right? Like nobody, and I don't want to say people who are diehard fans of Nintendo aren't gamers, but let's just be fair. I'm pretty much sure anybody who's a diehard Nintendo fan
What do you
also.
You can't even say that because, you know, besides Atari,
You said Atari?
you know, besides Atari, it started with Nintendo.
Well, if you want to
Like all this,
if you want to go before Atari, we could say in television. Who's counting?
yeah, but like that's yeah. But like, if you really want to get into like when like games really blew up was with Nintendo and so forth, Nintendo, the Super Nintendo, you know, the N64, the GameCube, you know, so it's like Nintendo's out there for a long time. It's like, you know, up here compared to, like, you just can't not include it in the pie, you know?
I mean,
Saying, oh,
yes. I'm gonna put them in the pie, but I feel like they're not. Nintendo make it clear they're not fighting for video game dominance. They have their own fans that's just gonna be fans of them regardless. Like when you think of the video game, the next gen war, they're not a part of the next gen war at all. Their new
They're not, because
system
now
is.
they're catching up to 4K now. You know,
But
the
their
whole.
new, yeah, their new system is rumored. Now hold on, I do want to say this, Jose. So Mr. Urban World did say, I wish I could hear dude in the red hat, but sound is kind of choppy for me. So he said your sound is a little bit choppy. Is a little bit choppy. But I mean, listen, I get your passion for Nintendo. We definitely got to give Nintendo its credit, but it doesn't move the needle when I think of next gen, because we are talking about the future of gaming. Now, Nintendo is on the list to talk about, and we could talk about the rumored, you know, Nintendo system. So let's go into that. But are we pretty much done with the Bethesda thing? I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I don't think it's nothing else to say, but we'll have to see what games they produce with all the different studios they have. We'll just have to wait and see, right? That's fair. Yes, it's a huge deal. It gives Microsoft a huge edge with Game Pass, which we're gonna get into a little bit later. But but yeah. So Jose, if you can fill us in with this news of the new Switch Pro or whatever it's called, because I did hear the rumor that it was gonna be a new Switch and it was gonna be, higher specs. Oh, so you know what? So I don't know if your thing is muted. Check the mic that you're using. Maybe the mic you're using have a mute button on it, because we can't hear you now. Here's my only problem with the new system for Nintendo, right? I feel like the new system, the new Nintendo system, is only going to catch up to the current PlayStation that's out now. I feel like it's
Right.
still going to be behind the next gen. What's your feelings on that?
I mean, I guess so. I mean, I don't even deal with Nintendo, so I don't even know. I haven't even played on the Switch or anything like that, so I don't even know what it looks like graphically or anything like that.
Right.
So
Yeah, so the whole thing with the graphically is it's not up to standard with the Xbox and the PlayStation, PlayStation 4.
You hear me now?
What you say?
You hear me?
Yeah. I think what it
still not
might be,
good though.
it might be where you're at. It might just be the internet is pulling off of your phone, because you're on your phone, right? It it might just be the internet isn't that
Yeah, I'm
strong.
using my Wi-Fi.
I think that's probably what it is. You gotta plug in one of those Cat 8 wires into your phone. Let me see. Let me go. Mr. Urban World said, "I'm not going to lie. If Nintendo released the rumored 4K handheld, I'd buy it." Yeah, I mean, I like Nintendo. I like the ideal of having one system that I could hook up to my TV and then I could take wherever I go. That always amazed me. I don't like in the past handhelds where you had to buy, if you had a Nintendo, Super Nintendo, right? Then you had to buy the same game for Super Nintendo, buy it again for a Game Boy. That always bothered me. That's why the Sega Nomad was cool to me, because it was literally a portable Sega Genesis. And maybe that's why I'm so into Stadia. Stadia essentially is a portable platform, right? I can take my Stadia controller and my laptop and go wherever. Or I could leave my laptop if I'm going on vacation because I don't want it to get broken because it costs too much, and just take my phone that I'm going to take everywhere, right? I'm going to take my phone everywhere. And so for me, like Mr. Urban was saying, he would buy the new Nintendo, but I feel like that's what Stadia allows me to have. So why do I need a Nintendo? Now, if I was into those Nintendo games, then obviously. Jose, let's see what you sound like now. Oh, he'll be back.
Yep, he gone.
Oh, so let me send him another invite, and or wait, he could just jump in the same. Oh, there you go. But yeah, so Joe? You don't have any feelings when it comes to PlayStation, right? It doesn't move the needle at all for you.
PlayStation or
Sorry,
Nintendo?
Nintendo. Okay.
Yeah, no, I haven't dealt with Nintendo since like the Wii.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
honestly, I haven't dealt with Nintendo since Nintendo 64. I never owned any of the Wii's. Once Nintendo
Right.
64 was done, I was kind of done.
Yeah, I mean the Wii was fine, but it just, like I would get like the soccer game and it was just a pain trying to play and it just didn't look good or anything like that.
Right.
So that's when I went and I eventually got, I think we got the PlayStation 3.
Right. And then when I think of games like exclusive games, Nintendo got probably the most exclusive games ever, right? But eventually, when you can't play anything anymore, to be fair, you just kind of like, okay, so I can't play Super Mario World, and I can't play, a Yoshi game, and I can't play Mario Tennis, and I can't play Mario Kart, which is awesome. But eventually, you just get over it and you move on, you know.
Uh-huh.
But Jose,
Nah, but
what's the deal with this new rumored system?
it's supposed to be that there's this web page from Poland, and it's a big retailer page,
Mm-hmm.
like a Walmart, and they already have up stuff for that says PlayStation Switch Pro, so it's already up on that retail page. So that's just fueling the fire for all the rumors. And then there's these two games that are supposed to be coming out next year around March. And they're going to be high demanding games, more so than the Switch is really been pushing. So people are saying that since they're releasing in March, that's just even adding more fuel to the fire that the Switch Pro will be dropping, as early as January or February for those games, or even the same day as those games.
I mean, I love the rumors and stuff, but sometimes the rumors are true. And if you go by logic, it kind of would make sense if they had a more powerful system and is dropping around the time of some games, or you see some games are going to be on that platform that technically shouldn't be able to be on that platform. Now we know developers could make a
Yeah,
downscaled version
also,
of the game if they wanted to as well.
also I don't know his name, but the guy from Nintendo told his game developers to think about the future for games now to have 4K included into the games that developers are making for Nintendo. Why would they say that? If the Switch Pro wasn't real, why would they tell their developers to think about 4K? So
Do we really need Mario in 4K though?
hell yeah.
I guess. I can't wait to see because Mario's always been cartoonish looking forever. So imagine the day they make like a real looking Mario. That would blow your mind. Like how Resident Evil look.
I don't want to real.
Yeah. But then I feel like as long as we don't have a real looking Mario, then what does it even matter if Mario's in 4K? Because I feel like the style for Mario doesn't need to look amazing.
It's not Mario though. If you would see how nice Breath of the Wild is, such a nice game. Mind you, it's running on Switch, which isn't a very powerful system, but the game looks great. Like the game looks really nice, for what it is. And if you can just see this game, I'm pretty sure if this game was in 4K, this game look amazing.
Yeah, but that also have like the cartoon looking graphics, right?
What?
Breath of the Wild. I mean, it's cell shaded. It's a Zelda game. So I feel like stuff like that, sometimes you can't.
Not really cell shaded, but it's,
Yeah, Fortnite-ish.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, listen, listen, I love competition. I feel like it moves things. To be honest with you, Nintendo is a good competition against the cloud system, cloud platforms, because it's portable and the cloud platforms are portable, you know? So yeah, let me see a Nintendo Pro, if that's what it's gonna be called, come out to kind of like, shake things up a little bit. You know? I probably honestly I would have bought a Switch if the Switch was on par graphically, right? Because if the Switch looked like I love the ideal of plugging the system up to my TV and then taking it off and have it in my hand. I think that's the coolest thing to me. So me personally, I feel like the Switch is the coolest system out, right? But it just underperforms, and that like I was used to be a graphics guy too, so it just underperforms too much, and then it doesn't have the games that make me want to play. So those two factors is what stopped me from getting the Switch, but I admire it.
Yeah, because there's ports for the Switch, but for me, they're pointless. There's no reason whatsoever you should be playing The Witcher 3 on a Nintendo Switch. None. None. Just because you want to take it on the go, maybe. But other than that, play it on PlayStation 4 or on Xbox. There's no reason why you should play The Witcher, that kind of game on a Nintendo Switch. It just doesn't have the power for that game.
Right.
So, but Nintendo Switch is more, like I said, like you said, it's just pretty much for Nintendo stuff, Mario, games like that.
Right.
So it's like, it's good for what it's for.
All right. Well, I mean, I don't know what else to say about Nintendo right now. We just got to see what they're gonna do. I mean, we're only talking about rumors anyway. Um, so yeah. I mean, listen, like I said, I love competition. Um, I if Stadia didn't come out, I could see me buying a Switch because I think what stopped them from getting all the other games is just because the other companies don't want to downgrade. They don't want to make multiple versions of the game. So it's like I'm not gonna make a you know a version for this, a version for that, especially downgrading to put on a Switch. Where Switch fans probably won't buy. You probably won't sell as much on certain with certain games on the Switch. In my opinion, maybe could be wrong. So but
Pretty
yeah,
sure,
let's.
pretty sure if you bought a Switch, I'm pretty sure if you bought a Switch, you'll say that, bro, that sucked.
I mean, just look at it this way: if we the same way we could say Stadia don't have a lot of games, would the Switch get that redhead stepchild treatment also? Look at all these games. Does the Switch have? There's a lot of games the Switch doesn't get, and Nintendo been out forever. So you would think they would get these games. Like, is Call of Duty on the Switch? No,
Yeah, but
right?
like you guys said, like Joe said, Nintendo doesn't go towards games like that.
Yeah. So
But
they.
now, but now they're supposed to be getting Apex Legends. So
I mean, that's why I don't. When I look at the big pie of again, I said next gen pie. Nintendo isn't in the conversation, especially when we just got a rumored system. You know what I'm saying? So they got to catch up to current gen. Talk about next gen. You know. So I hope they're pro. All right. So let me read a comment because this is what Mr. Urbanworld said. He said the upgraded Switch could possibly reach the Xbox Series S level. He said we're basically doing that with cloud gaming. We can play on the TV or the Go, so the Switch doesn't really excite me like that. He said, "Oh man, the Sega Nomad was dope, but he was always into Sega gear." So yeah, I mean, same thing he said. But so do you guys? So let's not. We don't want to be here all night. I know eventually Joe's gonna be like, "It's my past my bedtime." So gonna help myself. Look, he left already. Um, let's just do this real quick, right? What do you think will be the game of the year this year? You didn't have to play it, but maybe you heard a buzz like, "Oh, this game's gonna is has been awesome." What do you think's gonna be a game of the year this year? And if we can, let's hold that thought real quick, and we're gonna come back, and then this is gonna be the last of it. We'll go over our last topics, guys. We got what's the game of the year. We got Xbox Game Pass, and we're gonna talk about what games have we been playing. So stay tuned. Be right back, and don't go anywhere. No, for real, don't go anywhere. Just stay tuned. Serious. All right, guys. So our last topic. So what we want to figure out is what do you think will be game of the year? So um, personally, my favorite game was Doom, and Doom got like all tens. Everybody gave it great reviews, but I don't think it would be game of the year. Now, The Avengers is my new favorite game. I haven't played it as much to say if I like it more than Doom. I want to say I probably will because I'm an ex Destiny player and it pretty much, and I'm an ex Anthem player and it literally is like both games mixed into one. But if I had to choose based off of hype, and this game isn't even out yet, so I don't even know if it will be able to be in it. But I feel like Cyberpunk might end up being game of the year if it delivers on all the hype. I think people, and I feel like game of the year and always end up being a popularity contest. So if Cyberpunk is able to be considered game of the year since it doesn't come out to November, it's November now, right? Then
Yeah.
it might be game of the year. Is that fair? Can I say that, or probably not because it hasn't been out yet.
It's too late. It's going to be out too late for it to be considered game of the year.
Okay, so then I guess Ghost of Tsushima.
When do they usually have the awards?
Like December. The game show is usually in December. So
maybe it's a possibility.
Yeah. But I'll say Ghost of Tsushima, just because I didn't find it that like I wasn't that into it. But and I actually want to say I was more into Heroes Die Twice. I felt like even though it's supposed to be the hard game, but I felt like it was real challenge. It was fun, like the people swinging and you blocking, and you had the grappler hook, you fly on top of the building. I feel like that had more substance and maybe it's more flashy, but I feel like Ghost of Tsushima again. Maybe I didn't play it long enough.
My character has a hook.
What,
my character has a hook.
Oh, you could do all that too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a hook in the game.
So you could grapple the hook on buildings and all that? I feel like you're lying to me.
Well, you need it to get into the castle.
Okay. I mean, it's so similar. Those games are very similar. Like even in my head, I'm trying to remember which is which. But I had more fun on the little time that I played with Heroes Die Twice. But I guess I'll say Ghost of Tsushima is probably going to get it. People have been raving about that game. You've been nonstop saying it's awesome. Visually, I don't think it looked that great, but visually, some people think it looks good.
God.
But yeah, that's what I'm gonna say, and I guess we'll see. What about you, Joe?
Last of Us Part 2.
Ooh, now
because that was the first on the list of when I Google what will be Game of the Year 2020.
Oh, can I change my? Now you know what? I was gonna say that too. I didn't beat it yet, but I mean, it was Game of the Year when it came out. It won all them awards. I know people was complaining about it, but I didn't beat it yet, so I tried to avoid all the complaints. But yeah, all right, I'm changing. Sorry, thank you, Joe. I'm changing my my Game of the Year, and I'm gonna say Last of Us. Yeah. What about you? Okay.
Ghost.
And you played both. You played and beat both. So without spoilers.
No, I haven't. I stopped playing The Last of Us 2 and I started playing Ghost.
Okay, got you. Okay.
And I haven't picked up The Last of Us 2 since. So.
Okay, got you. All right, that's fair. Well, obviously it showed Ghost held your attention, you know?
Yeah, like to me the game looks fantastic. Like it looks super nice. Because like I said, I always say I'm a graphics guy. And the story is but I enjoy the combat and all that stuff. Last of Us is a good game. It's good, like, you know, the combat is good too. You know, the way the story set up and the way things happen. It's just a good game. So I can see that being #1, 2. So it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be close between those two.
Right. Well, here's.
But I think more people gave Ghost higher reviews, and that could have been because of the fact that people didn't like what happened in the game. That make people be like, "Oh, fuck, the game sucks." It's because they didn't like what happened in the game. So would that affect the quality and how the game played? I don't know, but
Well, here's
something
to throw in there. Mr. Urban Roll, so ready for this. And I don't know if this might make it, but I didn't think about this. But he said Game of the Year will be a tie between Spider-Man and Cyberpunk. And he said, well, I can't add Spider-Man because it comes late, so I'll say Cyberpunk. But doesn't that come out the day one when PlayStation come out, right?
Yeah. Nope. They don't yet have a given date for that game.
Well, Miles Morales, right?
Yeah, they haven't given a date on that game, so they don't know.
I thought that was a day one title.
I think it said holiday.
Okay.
Yeah, it said holiday 2020.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be too late. And then plus, I think the consensus for that game, they announced that it was originally going to be an add-on for the original game that came out 2 years ago. So I doubt that game's going to be that amazing, because it was just supposed to be an expansion. Now the new Spider-Man that comes out next year probably going to be like that epic, whatever. But all right, guys. So that's our game.
Game's supposed to be like,
huh?
The game's only supposed to be 10 hours long.
Yeah, right. So it's not going to be that. Oh my goodness. That's our game of the year. What we think. Joe and I both think it's going to be The Last of Us 2, and Jose think it's going to be Ghost of Tsushima. Am I saying it right? Whatever. So now let's just talk about what we've. All right. So you guys want to talk about what we've been playing, or you want to talk about Game Pass?
I want to do the Game Pass. I just want to get it over with.
All right, let's get it over. Game Pass is a hot subject, guys. Reason why Game Pass is a hot
ding. Here we go.
All right, so reason why Game Pass is a hot subject because I don't know if people are paying attention, but I feel like it's gonna change the gaming industry. Me personally. Now, I'm a PlayStation guy. You're not gonna get me buying an Xbox. But over the last year, I kind of got into Stadia because I thought it's cool to be able to take it wherever. I don't travel a lot, but I do family trips here and there. And my wife say, don't bring your PlayStation. But if I was able to bring my phone and just play a game with a controller, I could have pulled that off. So, and since then, I did a lot of that traveling and done blah, blah, blah. Now, Game Pass is pretty epic, because it's going to allow you to really be the blockbuster, sorry, not blockbuster, but Netflix of video games. So let's explain it for everybody, for some people who have no clue. And sure, you've heard of Game Pass, but now, and let's add to it, Jose. So they added what? EA Plus, right? So now you're going to have, but I did hear that that's only going to be like a certain amount of hours, though. So you have to upgrade to like.
It's the lower tier of the EA. I think it's EA Play. Right?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, there's 2 tiers. There's 2 tiers. There's EA and there's EA Pro.
So
there's the Pro tier.
However, that's still going to allow you to be able to get some games. So okay, let's start over. Game Pass is going to be $14.99 a month, and this is what it includes: exclusive Microsoft games. So that means if you're an Xbox fan, you're going to be able to. In $14.99 is going to include Halo. It's going to include Gears of War. Remember, last Gears of War came out, we got to play it 4 days early because we had Game Pass, right? So you're going to get to do stuff like that. It's going to include a bunch of other games. And remember, Xbox got, over 20 studios, they said? Not even counting the Bethesda 7 studios, right? So it's going to include that. It's going to include, if you're a Destiny fan, it has all of Destiny is included. That means the new expansion coming out is included. That means you're not paying for that new expansion. It's included in $14.99. And then the Bethesda, you throw that out there as well. Games like Doom, games like Wolfenstein, games like Prey, some stuff like this will be included in Game Pass. And again, $14.99. And then if the pot doesn't get sweeter, they added their cloud-based service. So if you're into handheld and if you're into the cloud, that's included as well for $14.99. So just to explain what Game Pass is. Now, we were saying in the chat, reason why we're bringing this up, is a hot topic because people said they feel that when Xbox did their reveal, they were more trying to sell Game Pass as a service than they was trying to sell their system. But they felt Sony was really trying to sell the systems, right? If I was in between and impartial, and I didn't, and I am actually, I'm more into Stadia, so I really don't have an allegiance to PlayStation like I used to, and I haven't been an Xbox guy since the 360. So if I wanted to buy a system day one, personally, I'll be buying an Xbox Series X for the power. I want the most powerful system, and because of Game Pass, because here it is, I could either take $500 and buy a PlayStation and spend $60 and buy a play. Now I spent $560 and bought a PlayStation game, and I still gotta get PlayStation Pro or PlayStation Plus so I could play online, right? Or so you wrap that up. Let's say I pay for it for the year. It could be $50, no, $60, whatever, right? So call it about $600, right? We're just gonna say $600. Get the PlayStation, one game, only one controller that it came with, and PlayStation Plus for the year. On this hand, I can spend my $500 and $15 because I'm paying $14.99 a month, and get Xbox and a multitude of games and the cloud service and all these other services. It to me speaks value. So go ahead, Jose. I know you're waiting. You was explaining how you feel like PlayStation is a better value. So I'm curious to hear how you make sense out of it. How does $600 is more value than the $515? Go ahead.
My thing is that I've been pushing Game Pass to you guys for the longest.
Sure.
For the longest. And you said that it's just not there. It's not fun. The games suck. There might be like a couple of good games and then the rest suck. That's what you said.
That's true.
But now you're talking about that Game Pass is this great thing. When Game Pass at the current moment, right now, Game Pass is exactly the same. The same games, nothing new. The same games that are on Game Pass right now are the same games you're going to get when you get your Series X or your Series S, right? You're not going to get anything new. You're going to get the current games that they have right now. So nothing special. In your words, right?
No. So I'm not agreeing to that. When you finish, I want if you want to let me jump in real quick.
Yeah, what changes that now?
Okay, here's the thing. So here's the difference. Here's how I used to even compare Game Pass to Stadia, and I use your point. Game Pass was cool because you had a bunch of games. Even Game Cloud, Xbox Game Cloud was cool, but they were old games. For instance, right when New Doom came out, Game Pass and Xbox xCloud wasn't getting Doom, but Stadia was. So if I want to play a new game, Xbox wasn't getting it, Game Pass, because they had all them old games. Now Game Pass did get Gears of War when it came out, right? They did get that. That was new. Here's my point. When the new Xbox dropped, right, the difference is going to be going forward, they're going to get these games added to Game Pass. In the past, Game Pass was only designed to get you old games. So it was similar to the PlayStation Now, where they had old games, and every time they got games was old. Now Game Pass is a service that includes new incoming games. So you don't think day one Game Pass isn't going to have games that's never came out before?
What? How? Whoa, what do you mean a now thing, bro? Game Pass since day one, got Xbox exclusives on release date.
Right.
On day one, since it started.
Right.
So that what you just said is wrong. All right.
No, I said
Completely
that.
wrong.
I literally
Now,
said they got Gears of War. I said that. I even said they got Gears of War 4 days earlier than everybody. I said that.
you say that further down the line they're gonna get other exclusives on day one. You know how far out those exclusives are?
Let me ask you a question.
Halo. So Halo could be 2 years out.
Well,
2 years.
here's the thing.
It could be out.
Here's the thing. Halo was supposed to be a launch title. If it wasn't for when they showed it, it looked terrible. They pushed it back. So Halo was done. All right, first of all. But now they want to revamp it. So here's what I'm saying. This is what you're
2 years.
confusing.
2
Hold on,
years.
wait. This is what you're confusing, right? You're confusing the words new game with exclusive. And that's what I want to say to you in the chat. You hear me say new games and you're only thinking exclusives, right? What I'm saying is they have all these new studios that they acquired a while ago. You don't think on day one they're going to have brand new games added to Game Pass? Not Microsoft like, oh, it's this AAA games. You don't think day one they're going to have games that's brand new on Game Pass? That's what you're saying. They're not going to have brand new games. I'm saying if I got an Xbox Series X and Game Pass, day one, I'm going to be like, oh, there are going to be some brand new games that's included. On PlayStation, I would have had to spend, I don't know if games are going to be $60, but I had to spend the money. Like, let's say day one, Game Pass come out with 5 games included. That's brand new. I would have had to time $60 for 5 on PlayStation, is what I'm saying. So that's a lot of value. Even if it's
That's not gonna happen though.
Huh?
That's not gonna happen though. You're sitting here saying things that aren't true because that's not gonna happen.
Jose, let me ask you a question. So are you saying the new systems are going to come out with no new games?
The Xbox, yeah.
So
the Xbox is getting that they're getting new games, but that game, what's that game called? The Medium?
Yeah, Medium. Yeah.
That's going to the PlayStation 2, right?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, so again, you're saying that you're using it again. We're gonna talk to you keep saying exclusive. I just keep saying new games. I don't care. Hear me out. I don't care if Xbox get games that PlayStation is gonna get. But if it's included in Game Pass, that means I didn't have to spend $60 over here when I could get it over here included. Huh?
That's exactly what I'm saying. There's not gonna be any new games on Game Pass on release of the Series X. There are going to be games added, but they're going to be games, maybe like older games that are just going to be added to Game Pass.
Right. But there's not going to. So here's the thing.
It's not an Xbox exclusive, because that's what you don't understand. If it's not an Xbox exclusive, it's not going to be released on Game Pass on day one.
That's not true.
So
that's
whatever
game. Hold up. That's not true. Here, that's not true. Listen. Streets of Rage 4 came out. Day one, it was on Game Pass, and you had to pay for it on PlayStation. I paid for it on PlayStation just because I thought I'd be playing with it with my friends for a while. I could have easily, and I still had Game. Hold on, wait. I still had Game Pass at the time. I could have just played it on Game Pass. That came out day one for both consoles, and I chose to pay the extra money. If I was smart, I would have got it on Game Pass because I don't even play it anymore. That's what I'm talking about. So your logic is wrong.
It didn't come out on day one.
Huh?
It didn't come out on day one on Game Pass.
It did. Yes, it did. Even that guy Mike. Listen, the guy Big Mike who used to play games with us, he streamed it that night. I said, dude, how'd you get it? Because I kept looking on PlayStation. He said, I got it on Game Pass. It came out earlier on Game Pass, like I guess some hours before on PlayStation. I was like, and I was only holding out to get it so I could play it with my friend Justin. I was like, I should have got it on Game Pass because I would have been able to play it earlier. You're wrong. I'm just saying. That's one example. Now, you could be right. Maybe Game Pass, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Game Pass will come out and have no new games added to Game Pass day one. Maybe. But I'm willing to bet they're going to at least have maybe 4 or 5 brand new games that's included in Game Pass. And then you're going to be like, man, I chose to get a PlayStation and spend $60 and the
it's going to be.
But
my point is, the games that you're going to get on Game Pass, if that happens, are going to be games that are already out on the current console.
Right. Well, that we'll have to see. If you're right, you could be right. But even like Joe said, Joe was looking at the future. Joe was like, well, if you think about it, when they do start adding games,
exactly,
it will make sense to have a Game Pass because you're just going to have a bunch of games always coming. Whereas PlayStation, you're going to keep having to pay for those games. That's why for me, it's more value. Even if I look down the road, I still, even if Game Pass, even if day one Game Pass didn't have any new games, I would still choose that because I could still, it's still going to have a bunch of games. And think about it, a new game, it's still going to have games I never even played before.
You're not sticking to what you said though, because the whole thing was when we started this conversation was what system should Joe get, right? It was what system should Joe get. If Joe were to get a system right now, what system should Joe get?
Well, yeah, when we were talking in the chat, we were talking about Game Pass, and we were saying, Joe and I in the chat said we would go with Xbox because we felt like Xbox has more value day one. You were saying it wouldn't. Now, I think Joe was also thinking like me, if Game Pass had brand new games on day one, then it makes sense. But if you're right and they don't, I mean, I still think it makes sense because for me, I don't see one game that PlayStation has day one that I want to get. You just said Miles Morales might not even come out. I didn't even play the last Spider-Man. So for me, I would get both systems and not even get a game, but get Game Pass. Then I got a bunch of games I could play, even if they're older games, but it could be games I never played. So, but let's hear from Joe. What do you got to say, Joe?
With the Game Pass, I don't even need the system. I could just use it on my computer, right?
Yes.
And get all that.
That's true.
Yeah.
And get all those games. So,
yeah, but the collection you get on computer is different from the collection you get on the system.
Okay. I mean, I like the idea of the Game Pass where I don't have to buy the game. I could just play them as they come and go. You when we talked in the chat today, we were kind of talking, and you know, it did get me thinking that yes, maybe right now the Game Pass is not the best thing just because of what they have, and I've seen the games, and I was just like, okay. But in time, that's why when we were talking during the video, in like a year, there could be a lot more games and make that more valuable and maybe skew me towards the Xbox.
But let me ask you this, Joe.
Yes, and that's what I said. That's what I said in the video. That's what I said in our chat. That's what I said in our chat. Right now, at the current moment, it's not worth it. If it wasn't worth it to you last month when I was telling you guys to get it, if it wasn't worth it to you then, it shouldn't be worth it to you now because it's exactly the same thing.
Here's the difference. So let me explain to you the difference. The difference between, and it wasn't last month, it was a while ago, but the difference between now and then was I personally think, so in the past, Game Pass was only getting old games. They was never getting brand new games besides the exclusives, right? So if you got a new system coming out, every new system usually adds some exclusives. So in my mind, I'm thinking you get the Xbox and then get Game Pass, and you're going to automatically get games included, and you don't have to spend $60 on a new game. That's the way my mind is thinking. But if they go on record today and say Xbox Game Pass won't have no new games, I still prefer it because guess what? If I got Sony PlayStation day one, you tell me what game am I getting. You tell me what game you're getting day one. Thank you.
Spider-Man.
Exactly.
Fortnite.
You just said Spider-Man wasn't coming day one. You just said that. Huh? So say Ratchet and Clank.
I don't know.
Is Ratchet and Clank coming day one? Like, that's what I'm saying. We got both these systems.
I don't get it.
So listen, we got both these systems, right? We don't even know what we're going to get day one. But so why would I choose? So neither one of them has a game that appealing to me, right? Neither one. They're both the same price. Why would I spend $500 for a game system that I don't even know what game I'm gonna get, but I just want the system, when I could spend $515 and get a system that's gonna have a bunch of games, and I know it's gonna be a ton of them I never played. So at least I'm getting this with games versus this and no game I could care less to get. How does that not make more sense?
Because it doesn't. Because are you listening to yourself? Like,
I
are you
am.
listening to
We're
yourself?
talking about money. I just broke down how it makes more sense financially.
Like, listen, you're saying that you would get the Xbox because of the games. But none of those games interest you, my guy. None of those games interest
And
you.
none of the PlayStation games interest me either. I just asked you. You couldn't even tell me. I said, what games would you even get day one?
So why would you sit here and say that you would get the Xbox for Game Pass because of the games? The games don't interest you at the moment. And they're not going to interest you for at least a good year. So why would you get the Xbox right now when you could get the PlayStation
and what
and
get what
games? Maybe not on day one, not all of them, but come November, come December, come February, January.
What game? Name a game.
What is it? Miles Morales is coming.
Don't want it. Don't want it.
Demon's Souls. Doesn't matter.
Don't want it.
Doesn't matter if you want. That's not the point. It doesn't matter if you want. You're
Joe, can you help me, please? He's making no point. You're naming games. Stop. Wait. All right, wait. Listen, you're naming games I don't want, right? And you're naming games that cost $60. Hold on, stop. Let's say, wait a minute, listen. Let's say I did want one of those games. Is you're naming games that cost $60 when I could get the Xbox Game Pass for $14.99 a month and get a bunch of games I could play? So why am I spending money on a system that got game? Neither one. What
he's saying is that you're not going to play. You wouldn't play them now. Right. So why does all of a sudden get an Xbox X? Would you all of a sudden want to play them? I think that's what he's trying to say.
Right. Well, I mean, if it comes down to that, I just won't get either. But if I had to choose, my money makes more sense for me to buy a system that I'm going to get a bunch of games that I could play. Like
in a year.
No, even now, it's still games out now
that you don't play now. So would you get a Series X for games that you don't even play now?
Then why would I get a PlayStation for games I don't play now? Both of them are going to be games I don't play now. However, one, I'm going to have to spend money on a game I don't care less about. But the other, I can spend $14.99 and have I might like some games. I didn't play them all. You know how many games are on Game Pass? I didn't play them all. I was just like, Plus, I'm a Destiny guy. I was super hardcore into Destiny. So for me, I didn't give those games times. I'm too busy playing Destiny. You know what is included in Game Pass? Oh, Destiny.
Are they going to put our game back in?
Destiny's included in almost everything now. So who cares?
No, not the expansion. The new expansion costs $40.
So what? If people are going to have to spend $20. So what?
You're actually trying. So this is you make no sense. When I say money, right? We're talking value. You're like, so what? Just spend the $40. But on this, you can spend the $14.99.
It's spend anything. I'm not saying to spend anything. I'm just making a point that Destiny pretty much free on a lot of things, right? Almost on everything right now. Well, it is, right? It's free on everything right now.
We're about to get timed out.
Oh man, this guy. I don't know where you. I don't know if you skipped out in math class or not, but your math is making no logical sense.
Nah, man, it's like I read a system now that I can play new games on that are gonna give me.
But you act like
the power of my new system. I'm gonna get a system that's gonna give me the power of my new system. I'm gonna see what I spent all that money on these new games that are coming out on the PlayStation 5. I'm gonna get the Xbox One X, and I'm not gonna get that. I'm gonna get maybe higher graphics on the games that are.
Here's what we need to do. This is our research, right? What we need to do is find out what's day one exclusive. That's what we need to find out.
We're gonna get kicked out, aren't we?
Yeah, we're gonna get kicked out. Hold on, let me hold on real quick, guys. We hear this more nonsense from the thing.
All right, let's get this done.
All right, guys. Thanks for the little wait. I apologize. This definitely will be the last one because we're almost done. But Jose and I, we think differently. What bothers me is money wise. I get it if you say for you that you want Spider-Man and you want Dark Souls and I don't know whatever else game. Again, the problem is we don't know what games are coming. And I promise that's what I'm gonna start doing. I'm gonna start looking into what's going to be day one games, right? I want to find out what games are coming out day one as far as we know. Because I think the thing is, you're saying that, well, if I get PlayStation, there's day one games I want. I'm saying that I don't want, there's not day one games I want from either. So I'd rather spend $14.99 instead of $60. And then I got a bunch of games I could play. And I could use xCloud. So if I want, I could play them on my phone too. And you got EA, you got
right now. You can do that right now without buying a Series X, though.
Yeah, but the question is,
the
question is if you had to choose one or the other. If you were going to say, and again, I'm not buying either. Remember, so real life, I'm not buying either. My thing was, I felt that Xbox Game Pass gave Xbox Game Pass gave the Xbox the leverage because they're offering a bunch of games, whether you call it old. I personally think they're gonna have new games too. You don't. So again, that's the disconnect. If you probably was like, oh man, they're gonna have 6 new games, you probably be thinking different. I don't know. Then again, it depends on what games as well. You also know there's games on Sony you do want to get, but again, you didn't state what game you would even get day one because we don't even know what day one games are. Right?
Yeah, but like I said, I'm gonna get both. Yet I know that when I get my PS5 in the door and I start it up and I put whatever that game is that I get with it, it's gonna give me what I paid for. It's gonna give me the graphics, it's gonna give me all that good stuff that the PlayStation 5 is supposed to give you. Right?
Now
I bring in my Xbox in the door, and I plug that fucker in, and guess what? Nothing, because I don't have a game that's gonna push that system to that next level.
Now here's what's cool. This is what you didn't say at all. You didn't say this in the chat. And you didn't say it to now. Now, I want to explain to people so they know what you're talking about. So Jose has a good point. So it's been proven, again, this is why they're holding off Halo, is that the Xbox new games are going to be a little underwhelming. They're not going to look as great because Xbox is allowing you to play all the new games on your old system. So meaning that they're pretty much, again, speculating, but they're upscaling their games to perform on the Xbox, the new consoles, whereas PlayStation are making games ground floor for the new console. So what Jose is saying that if he take a game on PlayStation day one, it's going to look great, and on Xbox, it's not going to look great. That's what you're saying, right?
That's not true anymore either, though. That's not true anymore either, because Sony lied. Sony said that they were all about next gen and making their games next gen. Right. But now, Miles Morales is going to be on the PlayStation 4. When they said, was it? The new one, what's that game with the girl?
Horizon Zero Dawn?
Yeah, that game was supposed to be coming to PS5 only. Now it's coming for the PS4 too. So,
yeah, I mean,
Sony kind of lied, saying that they're all about that moving on to the next gen. Now they're saying that they're going to continue to support the PS5 for another 40 years, maybe.
Yeah, but here's the thing: did you ever? I mean, full shame on you if you think all of a sudden they're just going to stop supporting the PlayStation 4. PlayStation 4's games still look great. Like, why would they stop? That's more money. If you could have money making games for both, that makes sense.
No. No, I'm not saying what I want. I'm saying what they said. if you watch, because I spend my free time watching video game channels on YouTube, and everybody said that Sony lied when they said that they're all about that next gen moving forward stuff.
Right, but I don't think they meant they was gonna stop making games for the current gen. That makes no sense. No system in history came out day one and then they stopped making games for the last gen. Like, I'm pretty sure that's not what they meant.
That's pretty much what Sony said. That's pretty much what Sony said.
No, I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure they did not say. I never heard them say. That makes no sense. The new system, first of all, it takes years for the new system to make to sell so much, for you to make so much money. You're not gonna just all of a sudden kill your money maker.
All these big, video game streaming channels are making stuff up. IGN, Inside Gaming, all of them are making that stuff up.
I'm pretty sure. I watched this stuff too, and I never heard them say Sony. So what I heard them say was Sony said they're gonna make these games, and it's gonna be directly for the next gen system. So you're gonna have a next gen version that's next gen. But whereas Xbox is doing, they're upscaling games. So it's like, remember when the PlayStation 3 and the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360 was out? So the PlayStation 3 had the cell processor in it, which could guide missiles and how powerful it was. But the Xbox was more popular at the time. So they made Xbox games first and then just ported them over to PlayStation 3. So the more powerful system games looked worse at the time because there was only ports. So that's why you see these Xbox games not looking as great. Now, Sony said, we're going to make a PlayStation 5 game, and then we're also going to have a PlayStation 4 version. But that PlayStation 4, the production of the PlayStation 4 version won't stop the production of the PlayStation 5 version.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't. They never said that. They never said that here's Miles Morales, and this is going to be on PS4, or here's Horizon, and this is going to be on PS4.
Yeah, but
they didn't release that information. They didn't release information till after their pre-orders went out.
I mean, I hear what you're saying. They didn't release that
information till after the pre-orders went out.
I hear that, but what I'm saying is, I don't think them saying the Miles Morales and Horizon Zero Dawn was gonna only be on PlayStation 5 meant they no longer was making PlayStation 4 games. How do you draw that conclusion? Exactly.
It's not about them not making PS4 games. It's that the games, when they speak about it, we're speaking about, we're all about the next gen. That the games that they're making for next gen, we're only going to be for next gen. Why they clearly said that our PS4 controllers aren't going to work on the PS5 with next gen games.
Right, correct. That's true. Yeah, but I don't get your point because
why wouldn't it when you're making the same game for the PS4, right? You're making the same game for the PS4. Now you're making it for the PS5 too, but my Pro controller, my PlayStation controller won't work on my PS5.
I mean, it sounds like to me you have a lot more reasons to get the Xbox Series X over the PlayStation. I don't know. You're like killing your own little argument.
No, it's not even about that. It's just about if a company says one thing,
I got you,
and then they completely say a different thing, it's wrong.
I agree. But
for them to say, our next gen stuff is only going to be for our next gen console.
Yeah, but
now after the pre-orders all went out, then they say, guess what? Miles Morales and Horizon are going to be for the PS4 too.
Yeah, but I feel like if you was a company, how could you not? Well, first of all, they went on record to say that now you found out that Miles Morales was originally supposed to be expansion for the Spider-Man game. So, they was gonna make it for the game that the system that the game's on, which is the PlayStation 4. But I feel like you don't be so mad at the company because that's money to be made. You're gonna miss out on money if you don't make a version of a best-selling game. That all right? Here's the fact, right?
Because
So
not
let's say
everyone's just
I
going to
was
go
on
out and
PS.
buy the new system right away.
What'd you say?
Like, not everyone's going to go buy the system right away.
Thank
So,
you.
I believe, like, even when PS4 first came out, like, they were still making PS3 games and PS4 games with the same game.
Right. I get they
Like, I get
probably.
that. Yeah, because I know they're not gonna go with the new system and just stop, all the PS4 stuff. But it was just like,
You felt misled.
what everybody was saying was that Ghost of Tsushima was the last big title that was gonna be coming out for the PS4. That was their big. Here it is. Here's how it's going out.
I never
But
took
now,
that. I think you were taking that the wrong way. I took that as that's gonna be like the game that like so you know how graphically as the games went on, like for instance, when Uncharted came out, part 1 on PlayStation 3, and part 2 came out, part 3, then it was like, whoa, part 3 was amazing. When God of War 3 came out for PlayStation 3, it was like, whoa, like when The Last of Us part 1 came out for PlayStation 3, that was the last graphically good game. That was the last graphical game that pushed the system as far as it could go. So what they were saying was Ghost of Tsushima was going to be the last game graphically. The PlayStation 4 can't have a game that's going to look better than this game. That's going to be as big. That's what they were saying. Now that didn't mean they were going to stop making games.
That again is bullshit. Because Miles Morales looks fantastic. Like, I don't care what you say. Like, the draw distance on that demo they showed, when he's on the bridge and you can see the other shore on the other side. Even the shore looks amazing.
First of all, that game isn't out yet. Second of all, they in the video it said this is video capture It said this is video capture from a PlayStation 5. So you're talking about graphics for a PlayStation 5, not a PlayStation 4.
You think it's gonna look like hot garbage on the PS4?
It's gonna probably look like the PlayStation 4 version that was already out 2 years ago.
Yeah, and that game looked good too.
Okay, so what does that mean? Does that game look better than Ghost of Tsushima? No. There's your answer. Well, there you go.
All right, but wait. We still have Horizon coming out. Right.
And that's probably going to look just as good.
That game, the original one, looks amazing.
Right.
So I'm pretty sure that it might not be as stunning or beautiful as it's going to be on the PS5, but it's still going to be up there with the graphics of Ghost. For them, I don't get it. Next gen is supposed to be next gen. That was the whole big thing.
There's a lot of speculation. We all can't wait to next gen system. Let's get into the last topic. I'm going to read these comments before we do. Mr. Urban World said November 19th. I guess he's saying when the thing comes out, which is funny because November 19th was the day Stadia came out. So what a kick in the pants. But he said Game Pass.
What comes out November 19th?
Huh? Morales.
Miles
Morales.
He said Game Pass not only includes day one exclusives, but Xbox Live and EA Play. Paying $14.99 a month is way better than paying $70 per game. He said the Xbox Series X upscaled to 4K, so I honestly don't believe there will be a huge visual difference between the Series X. That people are underestimating that console. He said Streets of Rage came out day one on Xbox Game Pass because I had it myself and saved me money. And then he said, hate to burst dude's bubble, but Sony said they'll be releasing PS5 exclusives on PC, and that is true. It was in the video. Final Fantasy, they showed.
I again that stuff. I don't care where they release their games. Like Sony's moving towards PC. That doesn't matter. But I'm not gonna listen to this guy's opinion. Why? Because it's blue. How are you gonna sit there and say that the Xbox Series S is gonna be on par with the Series X. Are you crazy? Like, are you serious?
Yeah, well, the
The
technical
Series S, no. The Series X is four times more powerful than the Series S. 4 times more powerful,
right.
which can push 8K at 120 frames per second. So you're telling me that your Series S is going to be pushing close to 8K? You're crazy. You're crazy.
Well, yeah. Well,
And for you to make that comment is like ridiculous.
yeah. Well,
Crazier than anything that Addy has ever said. And Ant said some crazy stuff.
I don't think I ever said anything crazy. I said stuff. See, the thing is, here's the difference between you and me. You speak off of emotions. I speak off of logics. So you get all amped up and start saying nonsense like it makes more sense to buy a PlayStation for the same amount of money and spend extra money on games versus get a Xbox and then spend $14.99 and get games. But anyway, it is what it is.
No, because you're twisting what I'm saying into your little, the way you want to put it out. No, that's not what I'm saying. Because, like I said, I have my Xbox One X. I have my Xbox One X, right? Now, let's say I couldn't get both systems, right? There's no point in me going out and buying the Series X when I have my Xbox One X that is stronger, for the guy who said his little comment, than the Series S. Okay?
Right.
The only thing that my Xbox One X doesn't have is the ray tracing capability.
Right.
That's it. But it's full 4K. Full 4K. All right?
But it probably won't load games as fast though. It won't do that.
So
Hey,
my game's still better. My game's still better.
Huh?
My games are still better than on that S.
Yeah, when you
So you're
finally load them up.
game's a little quicker, but my X looks better. Now, you say that, so I could get, why would I pay $500 on a Series X?
No, a PlayStation.
No. Why would I waste money on a Series X when I have my Xbox One X that will play everything on the Game Pass?
Right. Because you're
everything that's coming out on Game Pass.
Right, but you established that you're a graphics guy, and you established that the Series X is
I am, and that's why I would spend my money on a new system that are gonna get new games sooner than maybe a year or two down the line. You know, games are actually gonna push my system to where it needs to be, right? For what I spent the money for. Right? So
but you don't know
Miles Morales.
You don't know
is gonna look.
You don't know if none of the Xbox games is gonna push it. You don't know that. You said how that Sauna game looks so amazing, right? That whatever it's called, Sauna, the girl screaming or whatever. You remember the girl? It's part 2 of Soul Blade or Sauna Blade.
That was kind of like, you know, like a video clip, like
I
part of
that, but when I said that,
it was like a movie thing. But I'm sure they said that, you know, that it's gonna look amazing. It's gonna look like that. But that was just like a video. So you gotta actually see gameplay. I saw gameplay. I saw gameplay on, you know, on PlayStation 5 games. You know, so I know what it's gonna do and what it's capable of, right? If you think about it, tell me how many games have we seen on the Xbox Series X running on the Series X that we saw how amazing it looked.
I mean,
we saw actual gameplay.
So here's the thing. Me personally, I didn't see one game on either side that looked amazing to me. So that's just me.
What game did you see on Series X?
Maybe that one game where you're like the first person shooter game where the guys run around shooting people and then you could drive in the car. I don't know what that, but I mean I didn't think it nothing I didn't see nothing that was groundbreaking. To me, I didn't see nothing that I felt like I couldn't see on a PlayStation 4. So even on PlayStation, what did
So
right,
when it comes down to it, it's just like I said, if I was a person that only had enough to get one,
right.
right? Game Pass for me isn't enough for me to buy the next gen Xbox
I get it because you're
I have
saying
my X. I have my X, so I can do that on my X. So I'd rather get the PlayStation and play these games that are gonna look amazing right away.
well, my
You
last question
know,
is, so you're thinking that the Xbox, the first generation Xbox X games are gonna not look better than a regular Xbox X, Xbox One. That's what you're saying.
what game is that? Tell me what game. What game is that?
No, I'm just saying. I'm actually. I said, like I
Because
said,
they're having that medium game. That medium game looks good. That graphically, that medium game looked amazing. I think they showed that on the Series
and
X.
that other
You know,
game
where
where
you
it's
can
like
go,
creepy looking, where it looks like it
yeah,
look
you
like
could go from
aliens or
normal
something.
world
Like
to like, so you could go from normal world to like the demon world, I guess,
right,
or to like ghost worlds.
right. Well, all right. So listen, I get your point. You know what you're adding now is that you feel like the Xbox Series X games aren't going to look as good as a PlayStation 5 game, and since you're a graphics guy, you rather spend your money on a system that's going to look better. And I get that. You should have said that from the beginning. So but yeah, it makes sense to you. I just feel like I'm pretty sure they're going to have some games I'm like, "Oh man, that looks pretty good." But none of them wow me anyway. So me, I'd rather spend 14.99 because I don't care about any of the games. So I'd rather be able to have accessibility to more games and features like the cloud and the EA and the Destiny and all that. But I get what you're saying. If you want to get a day one next gen system, you want it to look next gen. You don't even know what games you might get day one, but you feel like the games on Sony is going to look better than the games on Xbox day one. I get it.
I think that's wrong too with um with the Miles Morales thing because it can't just be Demon Souls on day one. It just can't be just Demon Souls.
Yeah, and that's why I
You
keep
know,
telling you with the Xbox. You can't think the Xbox is going to come out and not have brand new games added to Game Pass. That's too
they
foolish.
they they they, they would have said it, man. They would have said it. They
They
would have
didn't
said
really
it.
say
Their
nothing. We
whole
don't even got a lineup. We don't know no games coming out day one.
exactly, they don't have anything
All right.
because their whole big push. They thought it was gonna be Halo. Yet they put Halo out there and people fucking creamed it.
Yeah.
So they were like, damn it, now they pulled it and they haven't put out another big game that
And,
they could say, oh, this is gonna be our day one game for you
and
guys.
you know why?
Because
Because I think their day one game is Game Pass. I think they're putting so much into Game Pass because they feel like, all right, we might not have that killer, but you're gonna be able to play so many games. You know, that's why they had that thing saying on day one, the Xbox Series X is gonna have over so many games. It's like, well, technically most of them games are old, but still. But anyway, we'll see what happens.
Game Pass
What we need
is
to
not a
do,
reason to buy.
we need to do our research and start finding out what games, if we can, what games are supposed to be day one games. That's what we need to do. And then we'll see, you know. Now, let's just talk about the very last thing. And I appreciate all the people who stayed in here listening. Um, Mr. Urban World had something to say, Jose. He said, haha, I understand that the Series X is 4 times more powerful, but since the Series S upscales to 4K, you won't see a huge visual difference. He said, um,
You will.
he said, dude, the PS5 nor the Xbox Series X will ever release 8K games. They'll be upscaled, not native. And he said your Xbox One X won't run games as smoothly as the Series S. This is factual. He said, and I agree with that. He said, Series S can run games up to 120 frames per second, and it upscales to 4K. You won't see a visual difference. He said, we'll see what he says when Hellblade 2 releases on the series consoles. It's going to look insane. Well, that's the game we were talking about.
What?
So,
Listen. I'm gonna comment to that because again, he's wrong. Like you're not gonna sit here and try to like shut me out or shut me down because you're wrong. Because right now I can go on my Xbox One X and play that game. What is it? Will of the Wisp.
right.
And that game runs at 120 frames per second on the Xbox One X. So what are you talking about?
I don't think it's no game running at 120.
That game is. Look it up. Look it up right now. Look it up.
Hold up. Your Xbox One X runs a game at 120.
That Will Wisp game? Yeah. Look it up.
Yeah, I gotta look that up. I don't think, but anyway, Joe just sent me this. Good stuff, Joe. Confirmed PlayStation 5 launch games: Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Astro's Playroom, Demon Souls, Destruction All Stars, Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition Digital, Fortnite, Godfall, Marvel Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Observer, System Redux, Sock Boy, A Big Adventure. So those are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games confirmed to come out day one.
And then there's
Yeah,
another
so that's-
list. And then the next list is like, right after launch.
Right, the place. Oh, right after launch. Well, the PlayStation Plus
Well, that's
collection. But
Right,
then,
but like further down, games coming to PS5 at or around launch.
right.
What games are those? What games are those?
Well, what about Well, I feel like it says. Well, I can read these. What about Can you look up Xbox? All right, this says Origami or Aragami 2, Bug Snacks. Remember, this is around or after. Bridge Constructor, The Walking Dead, Call of Duty, Black Ops, Cold War, November 13th. Control Unlimited Edition, Dirt 5, Immortals, Phoenix Rising, December 3rd. Madden NFL 21, Marvel Avengers,
That
NBA
game looks so
2K21, Oddworld, Soulstorm, Outriders, Overcooked, All You Can Eat, Planet Caster Console Edition, Puyo Tetris 2, December 8th, Rainbow Six Siege, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, Watchdog Legions, WRC 9. So those are some games coming on or around. So we've got a bunch of games coming out. Joe, did you find a list for the Xbox Series X?
Yeah.
All right. Well, while Joe do that, a word from our sponsor. All right, guys. So here's some Xbox Series X launch games: Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Bright Memory, Dirt 5, FIFA 21, Fortnite, Gears 5, Series X upgrade, Gears Tactics, Marvel Avengers, NBA 2K21, Observer, System Redux, Tetris Effect, Connected, The Falconeer, Watchdog Legions, Yokozuna, Yakuza. Yakuza Like a Dragon. Um, and then games coming to Xbox Series XS at around launch. 12 minutes, Call of the Sea, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, Control Ultimate Edition, Crossfire X, Dead Static Drive, Everwild, XO1, Lake, Last Stop, Mad Streets, Outriders, Overcooked, All You Can Eat, Casters Console Edition, Rainbow Six Siege, Recompile, Stable, Scorn. Oh, Scorn was that one game that looked pretty good. Shredders, Song of Iron, The Artful Escape, The Ascent, The Big Con, The Medium, Tunic, Unexplored 2, The Wayfarer's Legacy, WRC9. So, Xbox seems to have a lot more games than the PlayStation, but we'll have to see what actually comes out. The day one list seems to be about the same, if you ask me. But I noticed Watchdog Legions was on this, and I don't think it was on the PlayStation list, right? Unless it was. But yeah, so you gotta think about it. I'm like I said, I'm sure it's gonna be some brand new games that never came out that's gonna be included in Game Pass. Now, I don't know if you're gonna like them or love them, not, but I'm pretty sure Game Pass is gonna have some brand new games that you never played that's you could have paid $14.99 and to have games included. But again, like you alluded to,
You
me and Joe didn't really care too much about Game Pass in the past. I will say I was more into Destiny, so Destiny did take a lot of my time. Um, so I didn't give a lot of things a try because let's say Game Pass had like 100 games. I probably paid like 20, maybe, if that. So there were so many games I didn't play, to be fair. But I just didn't have time for it. I just felt like, eh. Oh, and then you knew they was old games. But going in the future, if I know, oh, these gonna be new games that I could have spent money on, but they're included, is what seems cool to me.
If it truly becomes like the Netflix of video games and it's just literally I'm just paying a monthly fee and all these games are available, great. Like new games.
Right, right. I mean, it's like, think about it. Why you think I love GameFly? GameFly has new games for $17.99 a month.
Right.
Now,
I mean, you just might, the only problem is you have to wait,
correct.
make sure
You might
get on the
not-
list,
yes.
make sure, you might not have it right away,
Right,
where this is right away.
right. Yeah, I mean, right away. Now, especially if you could utilize the cloud, right? Because you still got to download these games. But if they have these games also, so that's why I know how deep they're going to go with their cloud. Or every game going to also be able to be on the cloud, so I could just snap my finger and play it and not have to say, oh, I don't want to download it. I almost feel like they won't do that, but I don't know. What's your thoughts on that, Jose?
I don't really know because I don't really do the whole cloud thing.
Right.
It's like I have my games. I either have them discs or I have them downloaded on my system. So that cloud stuff, that's not for me.
Right.
Like I don't really care about that stuff.
I got you. But do you think they're gonna allow every game on Game Pass also be on Xbox streaming?
No, because it's not like that now. Like it's not like that for PC because I believe that PC Game Pass gets all the games that we get on the system itself because we don't get Flight Simulator.
No, you're right. Yeah, I tried Xbox Game Pass on the PC before, and yeah, like it's they don't have as big list either.
Yeah, but they also have the console streaming too. So.
That is true.
So
That
you
is
could just
true.
probably just Game Pass something and then just console stream it
Yeah, he's
that way.
right. Yeah, remote play. Yeah, he gets
Yeah,
right. You could still say, all right, well, I mean, you still gonna have to download it, but you could still be on vacation and hit the
right.
button and it automatically turn on your PlayStation, or sorry, your Xbox, and then you'll be playing on whatever device.
Yeah,
Yeah, not whatever, but because they're kind of limited. I think that's what also gives Stadia the edge in the cloud space is because you could theoretically play it on almost anything, but like Xbox, it's a little limited right now what you can play it on. And then also another reason why I don't feel like Xbox is automatically going to kill Stadia. Sorry, this is a side thing because Project S Cloud or game Xbox streaming is only 720p. You're a graphics guy, and that cloud streaming thing is only 720p, where Stadia is up to 4K. So, anyways,
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
well, um, uh, anyways, I guess the last thing, guys, let's just talk about briefly what we've been playing. What games you been up to, Joe?
just mostly playing the PGA 2K21. That's eating up all my time. I pretty much once I got past level 50 in Elder Scrolls, I was kind of like, okay, I'm kind of done. Uh, so then I found this, and this will probably take me until the new Assassin's Creed comes out because I'm very interested in that.
Oh snap! Don't get into that Assassin's Creed.
What you been playing lately?
I'm playing a lot right now because I had my Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and I was pretty far ahead, and my kids deleted my file, so I had to start a new game. So I'm trying to beat that before the new one comes out. Yeah, it probably has nothing to do with this one, but still. And I got back into Breath of the Wild because I didn't beat the game.
Okay.
Like I just watched my kid's mom play it and she did, so I was like, I already saw it, so
right.
But I want to beat it myself, so I'm playing that now too.
Cool.
You?
Yeah, I mean, I've been playing Avengers. That's you guys know I've been really, really looking forward to that game. Created a whole Stadia Avengers channel. Shout outs to that and the Facebook page. So if you guys play Marvel Avengers on Stadia, you could check out the Facebook page called Stadia Avengers and the Discord called Stadia Avengers and the Facebook group chat called Stadia Avengers. But yeah, I've been playing that. I actually maxed out a character, so I got Hulk to level 5. But now I got his power level to 100. So I got him to 50. That's a level 5. I got him to 50 and then level 100, but it goes up to 150. So that was cool. And I've been playing WWE 2K Battlegrounds. I just got that the other day, and I liked it. You asked me how to like it. At first, I'm like, but I played it for probably like 4 hours yesterday, and it got better, more and more fun because at first when I played, I felt like it's just kind of silly and there's no strategy to it. But then as I was playing, I fought people who were better than me. I was like, oh wait, there's actually a strategy, and that's why I like the wrestling. I like playing a wrestling game and trying to see can I be better than them, or am I gonna grab or I'm gonna strike.
Like
and this,
actual, when you say playing people that's better than you mean actual people?
yeah, so the tournament mode and the tournament mode is crossplay. So I actually played the tournament, which is cool. You go in the tournament and it's 7 matches, right? So I beat my first 2 matches straight up. The
Oh,
third,
so I played on Stadia?
yeah, I played on it's crossplay, yeah, on Stadia. On the tournament mode and the King of the Ring. Like the tournaments where you play with people online, it's crossplay. So you can turn crossplay on or off. But yeah, it got cool because when I played the story mode, I just was whooping the computer, right? No big deal. And then when I went online, it was really cool facing people, seeing how they try to back up and be afraid of you. And then you losing, then you come back and win. Then my third match, this guy just destroyed me. I'm like, oh wow, okay, that's cool. And then they give you like golden tickets, so if you lose, you could save your spot, so you won't start you all the way over. Then if you get to a certain level, they have money, so you get in-game currency, so now you can unlock characters. So it's like cool playing an actual tournament, and the further you get, you unlock money. So I know the game looks silly, But it actually was kind of cool. Now, I don't think it's worth the $50. I wouldn't recommend somebody pay for the extra stuff, but I think it's probably worth $35, not $40. But if you're a
Yeah,
wrestling fan,
the lowest one is 40. That's the one I got. I got the
I
40
know, yeah,
one.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I I don't. If you're a wrestling fan and then yeah, it's probably worth the
But
40.
it's not. It's not. At the end of the day, it's not wrestling. You
It is, but
know,
it isn't because if you play it long enough, it is a strategy. You do got your striking, you got your grabbing. You could. I
there's
mean,
maybe the strategy, but it's not wrestling.
I mean, it is. I mean, here's what's cool. If you could just take away the super silly stuff, it literally is wrestling. Like you could do Irish whips, you could jump in the ring, out the ring, grab weapons. I mean, you could do everything you could do in the other wrestling games. It's just got that added silly looking stuff to it and the moves where you flipping in the air. But if you took that away,
Yeah,
it's
but it's like it's got just a certain number of moves.
true.
Where in wrestling, you get a bunch of moves,
Right.
right? Or you can create a character and change all your moves out, but still have a certain amount of moves.
Right.
In this game, it's like
It's
let me say,
limited, yes, but it's
maybe
still
three
wrestling.
moves, maybe 3 moves that each character would have. 3, I say 4 tops, and that's it.
No, it is definitely limited in moves, but it's still wrestling. I mean, regardless if you push up and left, down, and right, and it's still the same move, but it still is wrestling. The strategy still is wrestling. I can still Irish whip you in the corner and run and clothesline you, and climb up and punch you in the face. I can still throw you out the ring, slide out, grab a chair, and whack you. I mean, it's just a wacky wrestling game, but it still is wrestling. You can still tap people out. You can still get
How do
pins.
you?
Huh?
You can't do that.
You can tap people
You
out.
can't do that.
Yeah, how long did you? All you do is
No,
hold. All you do is
no.
hold that.
I know you can do like submissions and stuff. I'm talking about because every time I whip somebody into the corner, they hit the corner and bounce out.
No, that's
They
because
never.
that's because you held
They
the,
never stick the corner.
no, that's because you held the button down. So if you hold the button down hard, that's a strong Irish whip. So you'll slam into the corner, they back up, then you go grab them and slam them again. If you just soft Irish whip them, they even got one of the trophies, one of the dailies, because they got dailies. One of the dailies is to do a turnbuckle like mini game. So when you throw them in the corner, you could climb up on them and punch them in the head. It's in the game. It's still wrestling. It's just
Well,
it's just limited.
like I tried. I've been trying to like do stuff like that, but I was like I don't even hold the button down. I just hit B
Okay.
to throw them, and they hit the corner and bounce out.
Right.
So
Yeah, you could drag people too.
and then I was
So
playing.
if you hold
I was
down,
playing.
go ahead.
I was playing the like the campaign.
Right.
One thing that I don't like about the campaign is like you can create a character, but you can't use your character in the campaign to go through the campaign.
Right.
You use these dumb characters that they give you.
Yeah, you gotta use that one guy.
I didn't like that. I wanted to use my created character in the campaign. But whatever, you use whatever they give you. And it was just too easy. Like I was winning matches like in like 30 seconds. You could win a match, just punch him, kick him on the ground, and then when it's like almost yellowish red, pin him and it's over. Cage match. You just knock him down, climb up, grab the money, knock him down, grab the money, knock him down, grab the money, then knock him down again and then go over the top rope.
Yeah.
Because they're down so long.
Yeah, I mean that's the strategy. I mean,
So
if you play the other wrestling games, all you do is just knock them down and climb out. I mean, it's wrestling. It's just silly to
Yeah,
it.
but it's a lot more difficult. It's a lot more difficult.
Right, yeah, because it's more of a strategy. Well, listen, play online. This game is difficult. Trust me. I couldn't beat the third guy. I kept playing people, couldn't beat him. But what makes other wrestling games again better because it's this game is so dumbed down. So like again, you play another game, you got probably like 30 moves that you could choose from. This game, you probably got like 10. You know. So I get what you're saying. I'm just saying it's still what made me like it more because the more and more I played, I felt like, oh, it still is a wrestling game. Like it's still got strategy to it. I still got everything I would do.
All right. I'm gonna just say this one thing. Did you ever play WWF WrestleMania?
Yep, I remember that. I had that.
Do you consider that a wrestling game?
Yeah, it's still a wrestling game. It's just extra outlandish.
Why? Because you use wrestlers? Because you use wrestlers?
No, because the format of it. So it's, again, for me, reason why it's a wrestling game is there's a grab, there's a strike. You got Irish whip. You can throw people out.
I can do that in Street Fighter and in Mortal Kombat. It's not a wrestling game.
No, you can't Irish whip nobody in Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. You can't climb in and out the like it still has the wrestling elements is why I call it a wrestling game. Now, something that's not a wrestling game, I mean, I don't know. Every wrestling game is a wrestling game for me because you could do what you see on wrestling, you know? Now, if it was just you just punch it like Mortal Kombat, it's like just a beat 'em up. You know what I'm saying? You can't pin nobody, you can't submit nobody. You know, that's a fighting game. But it still has wrestling elements.
In that WrestleMania game, you were shooting ghosts out of the Undertaker's hands and hitting people with actual tombstones.
Right.
And you in that game, I don't believe you actually did.
Oh, you're talking about like way back in the day? I thought you were talking about like
the arcade WrestleMania game.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, that probably wouldn't be a wrestling game. I thought you meant the one. I think it was called WWE Superstars, where like you could grab people and jump up in the air and slam them, kind of like this game.
That was just like this one. That was just like this one.
Yeah, that was just like this one. But yeah, you're right. The other game was more like a fighting game. Like I don't even think you pinned people. I don't know. Maybe.
You did, but it wasn't like.
Let me, Mr. Urban World. Let me read the last comments on here. He said, LOL, there's no way that game is running at 120 frames per second on Xbox X. I'm pretty sure.
Bro, look it up. Look it up.
He said Super Bomberman Online, Stadia, Killing Floor 2, and Yakuza 0 is what I've been playing. Okay, cool. But, yeah, I mean. So,
look at it. Like I have Xbox on their YouTube channel, like actual Microsoft Xbox YouTube channel. They give you updates of everything. And when Will of the Wisp came out, it wasn't at 120. Yeah, but it was updated, and now it runs at 120 frames per second.
Yeah, I mean that's like unbelievable. That's double what the top game runs at.
Yeah, but mind you, Will of the Wisp isn't like this crazy, demanding, taxing game on a system. It looks beautiful. It's a pretty looking game, but it's nothing crazy, And for it to be able to run at 120 frames per second, it's not like something that's too strong for the Xbox One X, But it's doing it.
I guess.
Like I said, look it up.
No, yeah, I definitely will look it up. So yeah, I mean, I think, look, I want to appreciate or thank, and I appreciate all the people who stayed because this is definitely longer than we thought it would have been. But we're very opinionated individuals, and Joe, didn't do a good job at jumping in between us. So we got to blame him, right?
I just let it go, man.
Yeah, well, So you're supposed to be the scorekeeper, taking time, making sure, like, guys, look what time it is. But yeah, I want to thank everybody. I also want to thank you two guys. I originally had plans to do like some type of video game show, and I wanted to try to get people I didn't know. So I feel like they couldn't prejudge my thoughts or whatever. But in the end, I couldn't find like an Xbox person and a PlayStation person. And then I thought to myself, Jose's pretty much an Xbox person, and I like the fact that you even will cross over to PlayStation, and Joe is a PlayStation person for the most part. So I thought, why don't the three of us discuss what's going on in gaming? So I think it's cool. It was cool to do it. Definitely be nice to do it again in the future if we get a stopwatch to stop us. But listen, guys, thanks for checking it out. Thanks for checking us out. And then tomorrow night, guys. So Joe, if you can download, you got a whole 24 hours to download Friday the 13th. So
I have a disc too.
All right, and you cool with that too, Jose? Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good to me. So, any last thoughts you guys have with the future of gaming?
No,
I can't wait.
Yeah, I agree.
it's not gonna be a mess.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. But I'm just gonna sit in the corner and watch the dust settle because I'm not buying either. As I say, let's go Stadia.
I'm excited. I'm excited just to see, all the new games and how amazing they're gonna look.
Well, remember, you said when you get them both, you'll bring them to my house and we can see what they look like.
Yeah, we're gonna test them and then test it next to the. We're gonna test the PS5.
You're gonna have to buy the
PS4.
Assassin's Creed for both of them, so that you can have the same game and go.
Right. We'll figure it out.
It wouldn't. If you buy Assassin's Creed for the PS5, you can't play it on PS4.
What's that?
You can't play PS5 and on PS4, even if it's if they're like release systems.
No, I think. Yeah, he might have a point. I don't know. Yeah, if you buy it for that system, see, I don't know if they let you upgrade it. I don't know if you're gonna be able to keep.
Oh, but not like Xbox has smart streaming. You buy it for the Xbox One X, you can play on your Xbox Series X.
Right. All right. We'll just have to.
That smart delivery. That smart delivery. What do you call it? Smart delivery.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. We'll just have to see.
Yeah, but I want to do that. I think it'll be a great video. If to see if it's really.
Yeah, and then we'll have our reactions, what we think. Yeah. All right, well, guys, thanks for watching. We appreciate it. I'm gonna end this thing off showing the intro for Stadia Avengers. So thanks for watching. Make sure you catch us tomorrow night at 8 p.m. sharp, right, guys?
Or 8:15 or 8:20. It really depends.
Around 8 o'clock.
Maybe 8:30.
It all depends if Sandy wants to go out to eat or not.
Yeah, she definitely screwed me on that one. But anyway, all right, guys.
Oh, she's going to hate me.
Yeah, right? Yeah, she won't never see this anyway. All right, guys. Take care.
All right, later.